Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everybody? It is finally Friday, and I'm so excited about the show we have today. Not only the show, but today is going to be phenomenal. Tonight, we got to start this announcement out right now. Tonight at Pho Bon Me Bistro and Grill, located right off of 646 in that, Bay Colony area, right next to Bay Colony Nails and Spa. There is something amazing happening. We're going to be there tonight.
We're going to be there shooting a giveaway video at 6 o'clock, and we just got a message from Cindy saying, hey, you know what? Anybody who likes, shares, and comments on this video right now gets an extra pound of crawfish when they go to the restaurant tonight. So come and join us. 6 o'clock. They're open until, I think, 9
They're
o'clock.
They're open to 9, but they said last night that the crawfish was so good that people were there till like 10 o'clock.
That's
just like
nuts.
being like, keep it coming.
So all you have to do to be eligible to get that extra pound of crawfish is like, share, and comment on this video.
Curt,
it's pretty easy, right?
You know what I'm doing right now? I'm liking this video. I'm sharing it. I'm going to comment on it. So here's my comment. I'm saying hi. Again, we're going to be at Pho Bon Me Bistro and Grill right there off of 646 in it's League City, Dickinson area. But trust me, you need to go there tonight. We're going to be there. We're going to be getting some film. We want to make sure we get you featured in our next video. You can be KHEA,
the star
of the KHEA radio giveaway video. That's a big deal.
You know the best part about this, Gardy?
What?
Is tonight at 9 o'clock, there's fireworks happening, right? Like, there's going to be fireworks in that area on 646.
Can you define fireworks?
Explosions.
There may be. I don't know how that works. Crystal's looking kind of funny, but whenever you take down an overpass,
Ooh, is it too
how
soon?
do they do that? Okay.
Too soon to be saying this? I don't
is
think
some
so.
news. Tonight, 646, it's getting blocked off. They're closing that bad boy. I don't know how they're going to get that thing down. I was going to send Curt out there with a hammer and a camera to see if we can get some footage, like, close up. But we may have a watch party from Pho Bon Me being like paying our respects to that 646 overpass that is going away starting tonight at 9 p.m.
Should we have the candles and light the candles and be like, Kumbaya, 646.
Kumbaya, lady. Adios.
Adios.
Hey, see ya never. They're going to do another overpass, and I believe it's going to help out with the flow of traffic. I-45 expansion is going to be better. So here's what you got to do. Like this video, comment on this video, share it out. You show up to Pho Bon Me tonight, you get an extra pound of crawfish. Show the staff, hey, I shared out this KHEA radio video. I'm here for the extra pound. Let's go.
Here's the funny part about this is people are probably wondering, wait, Pho Bon Me Bistro and Grill, like, isn't that like a Vietnamese place? Like, what are you talking about crawfish for? They actually opened up a second part of their restaurant. The other side is now seafood, right?
Yeah, they're opening up a seafood side, and it's a giant restaurant. I will say this, that kitchen, we've been into quite a bit of, some kitchens now, right?
Right.
That's
a lot of kitchens.
Giant kitchen.
Huge.
It's very nice. And they also have another side of the restaurant that's going to be featuring their seafood, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, so all you have to do to be eligible is like this video, share this video, comment on this video to get that extra crawfish. I think it's worth it.
100%, man.
An extra pound of crawfish, that's a lot of money.
You're a winner. That's the thing. A lot of people are like, hey, I'm trying to participate in this giveaway if I'm going to be the winner. This is a guarantee that you show up, you get that extra pound of crawfish, and it's 100%. It's foolproof. So we appreciate you guys. I think I heard Crystal over there sharing the video out herself on her feed. She doesn't even eat meat for the most part, but she said when it comes to crawfish, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Sometimes you just have to do what you got to do.
But I'm excited to have this time with you today. It is Friday. It's Friday morning. I believe it's going to be a good weekend for you. I know we have a ton of stuff planned, and I'm excited to get into it. The day's just getting started. I made sure I went to sleep early after the Rockets got that win last night.
You started
H-Town,
it out,
hold
right?
it down.
You had to drop the Bang energy drink.
I got some Bang, and this weekend's going to be amazing. On the road for a reason. 5K is taking place on Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning we have that going on, and then we have a special announcement that we haven't made yet of what's taking place in the evening.
I'm scared whenever you tell me like there's a special announcement, and my mind is racing and I have no idea what it is, but I'm dying to know. What is it?
It's going to be that we are doing our show from 5 to 7.
Oh, yes.
At Reality of Wrestling, Saturday night. We're going to be there for their Booker T birthday bash.
Woo!
It's going to be great.
About that. I am excited. Shout out to Reality of Wrestling, our friends at Reality of Wrestling, but that's Booker T's wrestling promotion. Brad Gilmore, Kevin, they have an awesome product that goes on over there. We've seen a lot of local talent that is making some big news and big splashes, like all over the country and the world, really. They travel everywhere. It's nuts.
So today, we felt like we couldn't show up in like a jean jacket or like a jacket, a normal jacket like you got over there.
No
we
way.
couldn't show up like this.
We'd look like fools.
We would look like fools in front of Booker
Even more,
T.
yeah.
And so we decided that we have to go and get the suit. We have to suit up like they did in Dumb and Dumber. We're going to get the matching orange and yellow suits. It's going to be great.
That's the plan.
Top hat.
That's the plan. We want to look nice. So we're going to be at Booker T's birthday bash tomorrow evening. We're going to be streaming live right here to Facebook, hanging out with you guys. It's going to be great, so you'll get a behind the scenes. We're hoping to get some interviews with some of the wrestling talent with Booker T. We're hoping to get some photos of Booker T. That's going to go like in the studio or like on my wall. I remember being a kid. And, I mean, you can still watch Booker T on WWE, like, today. But I remember being a kid watching WCW, playing as Booker T, like, in video games and watching him on TV in Harlem Heat. Dude, he's like a living legend, and I'm excited because this is going to be our first opportunity to actually shake his hand, hold a microphone, and be like, you're a hero. You're a hero. This is what do I do with my hands.
Are you going to bring up the whole year that I've been like talking trash to him?
Apparently he knows. I'm not bringing it up, but I'm hoping that you get a kick to the face. I mean, I hope it doesn't get brought up is what I meant.
Did you see that Gino also attacked Booker T?
100% I saw that.
Straight up in the suit.
I want to talk to Gino about that. Like Gino,
why did you slap a dude?
Mijo, what are you doing? What are you doing? I thought we were good.
Yeah.
Gino, here we go. Let's do this on the FM too. Here we go. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is Friday morning, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to share this time with you. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great show. Curt, I feel like we're going to have, some good topics today. We're going to be sharing some positivity in the community, getting the weekend started right. How do you feel?
I'm super excited about today. I feel like when you have an opportunity to win an extra pound of crawfish from Fat Ba Me Bistro and Grill, every day is a great day. So here, everybody's a winner.
Yes.
All you have to do is like, share, and comment on this video, and you have that chance.
I want to be a winner. What do I have to do? One more time, Curt. How can I be a winner today?
All you have to do is like, share, and comment this video, this live video right here, and you have a chance to get that extra pound of crawfish. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll watch the fireworks together.
Yeah. You can always make room for an extra pound of crawfish. I will say that. How many pounds of crawfish is it okay to eat in one sitting and still feel okay with yourself? That is a good question because I'm like, oh yeah, I can eat 5 pounds, and then yeah, I can eat 5 pounds, but then I don't know. I feel like people are judging me. When is it too much crawfish? Do you have you didn't grow up here, so you didn't go to crawfish boils at people's houses and stuff.
When you said 5 pounds of crawfish, I think that's a lot of crawfish, right?
Is
5 pounds is a lot.
So okay, we went to a local restaurant the other day, and I got crawfish. Remember?
You had 3 orders of crawfish.
I did. So
it wasn't just Crystal's over here what did you just do?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I ordered. They had spicy, and I got the spicy, and then I also got some garlic. I never had garlic seasoned crawfish, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try it. So I got some of each. I feel like I got 2 pounds of each. I ate it all, and then I was like, I can eat another pound. Could you bring me another pound of the spicy crawfish? And they brought it out, and I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, I feel satisfied. I feel okay. I'm making good life decisions. You got to order 5 pounds of crawfish, but I don't know. Were you judging me whenever I made that second order? Hey, can you get some more?
Yeah, when you said that, I did. I looked at him. I'm like, what did you just do? You just ordered more crawfish? Everyone else at the table was already done eating. Yeah. Everybody else was done eating. And all of a sudden, Gardy's like, I'll take some more.
Yeah.
So then obviously I have to order ice cream. I obviously, we're going to be there another hour with this guy eating all this crawfish.
Yeah.
I got to have something to eat on.
Wow. You did order dessert, didn't you?
I did. I ordered dessert.
There's nothing wrong with dessert sometimes. Sometimes. I think it becomes an issue when you get dessert every time.
Pastor Hallam told me in a sermon one time, he said, you always have to get dessert.
Did he say that?
I think so.
I must have been absent
I'm trying
that
to
service.
justify the fact that I eat dessert every meal. That works, right?
Yeah. Okay, it's 8:48. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. Share this video. Make sure that you smash the like or the heart button and go ahead and comment and let us know what you have going on today. Whenever you like, share, and comment on this Facebook stream, what's going to happen is that you're going to get an extra pound of crawfish for free at Fub on Me Bistro and Grill whenever you come hang out with us tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so that's an extra pound. That's a lot of crawfish. You do have to order something, but bring the family out.
Bring the family.
You never know with the fireworks that are happening tonight.
You keep saying fireworks, but people are not really sure what you're talking about because people are like, fireworks? What is he talking about?
Okay, so fireworks. It's going to be...
We know what fireworks are.
The 646 demolition. We're going to watch it explode together.
I don't think that's how they're going to do it.
You don't think they're just going to like, you know, I'm thinking like Wile E. Coyote. You're going to walk over there with the dynamite,
No.
push down the lever, and it's going to go...
I hope they have a better plan than that, and I think they do. Because if you think about the destruction that would cause and how many cars are going to be going by and the businesses and houses that are around, it's not going to work. I don't know how they do it, but I am curious to see how I'm gonna get home.
No, you gotta go over the bridge.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I've already taken a plan. You know, okay, I can go, 646 to 517, 517, to Highway 3, and then get back around. Yeah, that's the plan.
How many people are upset that we're calling it, like, that we're making fun of this? Like, are people like, people's lives are ruined by this? It's over.
I don't know if you're making fun of it.
I'm a little
unless,
bit.
Are you?
I am a little bit.
Why?
Because it's like everyone's making a big deal about a bridge going down. It's not that big of a deal.
Kurt, it's a big deal, man.
It's a big deal. I drive on that bridge every day. Like, that's how I get here. So, I mean, I'm completely redirecting my path to and from work.
Yeah, a lot of people are. Think about it. Because they're going to have to reroute I-45 even, like northbound, southbound lanes. It's not just, hey, if I have to get over. The people that are coming from Houston, like I saw Paloma. She got tagged or shared an article. She works at the Memorial Public Library, but she lives in Houston. That's going to affect her coming from Houston to Texas City to work every day.
Just take Highway 3.
That's not going to work. That's not going to work quite the same.
I just got a text message from somebody that said, Kurt, you don't live near 646. You have no idea how big of a deal this is. Okay, maybe I'll back off.
I remember the old days whenever they first built Walmart and Victory Lakes was out there. Crystal knows because it was her uncle. Her uncle used to have a house out there in Victory Lakes, and it was one of the first ones. But her, my best friend, he was related to them, and I would go out there all the time, and there was nothing but fields. I remember they started building Walmart, and we were so excited. But 646 has since seen major expansion. They built HEB on the other side, and we were excited about that. And you've seen what it's turned into. But now they need to make the roads catch up to what's going on, like business-wise.
How long is this bridge going to be out for?
At least 6 months.
Do you guys have a plan?
Yeah.
Y'all have a plan?
100% I have a plan.
How are you getting here? 517?
I'm teleporting.
You're
Yeah, that's the plan.
Telekinesis.
No, not telekinesis. I'm going to be teleporting to work every day. That is my plan. Or I'm just going to be sleeping here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll get bunk beds where you have your bed here. Yep. But I'm
Bunk bed!
You're going to have to clean up the room because it looks real bad.
It does.
Your closet.
I cleaned it up yesterday. The room looks good here at the church. It looks awesome.
This is KHEA. We are super excited that you have taken the time to listen at 99.5 FM, that you've taken this morning to watch us on social media. We're streaming live on Facebook. If you're not liking us on Facebook yet, make sure you go do that. Go search KHEA Radio on Facebook. Hit the thumbs up. Let us know. What do you have going on today? What are you getting into? We're excited to start this day with you. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Grandmaster Garza and Cindy and everybody else that's taking this time to hang out with us. We appreciate you. We know you could be doing anything in the world. We know it. But we feel like this is the best way you can start your day every weekday, 8:30 to 11 a.m. We're trying to spread some positivity, and we know that you can help us out, and we appreciate that. Okay, so today is Green Eggs and Ham Day at my son's school. Has anybody else ever heard of anything like that for like a Dr. Seuss week? Crystal says no. Kurt, did y'all ever do like a Dr. Seuss or green eggs and ham?
We did green eggs and ham. Did they actually color dye the green eggs, like to make it green and the ham green?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what we used to do when I was little. We would dye the ham and the eggs green.
Yeah, my son was telling me yesterday, he was like, hey, it's green eggs and ham day at school. And I said, wait, Kellen, how do they get green eggs and ham? And he was like, don't worry, Dad. They actually just dye it, so it's not really green eggs. And I was just like, are you sure? I love playing along with that and just letting him explain stuff as he learns to like figure out life. But it was a lot of fun. And they had told me in the message it was going to be at 8:15. I went over there at 8:15, and they said, oh, it's actually at 8:30. And I'm like, well, I got plans for 8:30. I'm spreading positivity. So shout out to the school next door and the green eggs and ham that they're partaking in. I am excited. This is KHEA. It's 8:54. We're going to be talking about insurance. We're going to be talking about planning for what happens in your life after you pass away one day, and just making sure you have documents set up in the right order. That's what we're going to be talking about at 9 o'clock. We have, Allstate in studio. We also have Grace, who is a lawyer in studio. So this is going to be our first time to have a lawyer. I think our legal
legit lawyer.
Yes, usually we have legal, and that's going to be like our interns, and we're like, legal, are we allowed to do this? And they say, no, you probably can't do that just because it's common sense. And we're like, okay, that's what we needed. But right now we're going to have some real legal in studio, which is going to be kind of exciting. We have a lot of questions whenever it comes to, are we allowed to legally do this? And now we're going to get the answer for real. Ethan,
you think they're bringing like a lawsuit to us? Is that the only reason why they wanted to come so bad?
That's a possibility. What if if we get, I don't know. We'll find out. But good morning to you guys. This is KHEA Radio. Yesterday, we went and shot a Shine on Lamarck video that went awesome. I got reminded because I saw Barry Alexander on. If you haven't watched that Shine on Lamarck where we were featuring A to Z fence and A to Z trophy, you need to go check it out. It is a business that's been in Lamarck for years now, passed down from generations, and they do some quality work. Go check that out. We shot a new Shine on Lamarck yesterday.
Yeah, we shot a new one at Mama Francis Soul Kitchen, located in Lamarck. It's right next to the new gas station that they just put up right there on Texas Avenue.
Yep.
And it's soul food. It's been there for about 5 years.
That's right.
And the mac and cheese, I can tell you this because I love mac and cheese. You just have to check it out yourself.
Check it out. They got smothered pork chops. They had meatloaf yesterday. That's what's cool about, I think it's safe to call it a mom and pop, a local restaurant, a hidden gem, something that people just need to know about. And it's actually right there in the heart of Lamarck, right next to the school, right? Right off Beauchet.
Right off. They talked a little bit about that yesterday, about how, the kids come from the school.
Yeah.
And go and get their food afterwards. And they're like, it's pretty awesome. We consider them to be our kids as well. It's awesome.
They had the daily specials. And they were talking about oxtails on, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I had actually people messaging me and saying, like, they got oxtails because I'm about to meet you up there right now. And I said, you know what? Not today, but tomorrow. Yes, they have oxtails. They're actually closed Saturday, open Sunday. But that Shine on Lamarck video is going to drop on Monday around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't heard of Mama Francis Soul Kitchen, go check them out. I promise you won't be disappointed. Tell them that we sent you.
It's going to be great. We're going to drop that on Monday around like 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So it's 8:57. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on social media. Whenever we come back, we are going to have our guests in studio. We're going to be talking about insurance. We're going to be talking about planning ahead, talking about legal advice. I'm not sure how much legal advice we're going to give out, but I know there are some classes that they hold where you can learn more about preparing for the future. Whenever you are creating a will, whenever you're doing power of attorney stuff, that's what we're going to be talking about. We have Allstate and we have Grace, who is a lawyer, in studio. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.
Just one more time, if you want an extra pound of crawfish
tonight, and I do,
at Bob Bon Me Bistro and Grill, located on 646 tonight, all you have to do is like, share, and comment on this video, and you get an extra pound of crawfish for free. And you get to come Everyone's the winner. We're not even going to pick one.
Yeah, you get to come hang out with us as well. So that's going to be starting at 6 o'clock this evening at Fub on Me Bistro and Grill. Come hang out with me and Kurt. We're going to be getting some film. You'll be featured in our next video that we're going to be dropping and filming. Make sure you come and hang out with us tonight. Like, share, comment. You show the waitstaff this video on your social media, like, hey, I shared it out, and you get an extra pound of crawfish. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Brian, what's up, man? I was trying to say good morning to you. We miss you too. Man, there is a ton of stuff going on. Yesterday, I was taking some phone calls about a music festival, and I need to tell you about that people want us to be involved in. So I'm excited to see if we'll be able to make that happen in the future. It's going to be fun.
Can you tell me now? Or?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't, Kurt. I cannot do it over the air. This is too high. It's like, I don't even know if I should be allowed to know this. It's like top secret stuff.
We should talk about that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your segment of Crystal Life. Everybody, the Jonas Brothers are back.
I did see that.
They dropped a new single last night, and my inner child is screaming.
So shout out to the Jonas Brothers. I did see that they made an announcement. They have an Instagram now. I don't know if they had one before. It's already verified. It is 100% them. I saw a clip from the music video from the single because I follow Sophie Turner, who is in Game of Thrones, and she is like married or dating one of the Jonas Brothers.
She is engaged to Joe Jonas.
Joe Jonas, who is the middle, or the middle Jonas, yeah. The interesting thing about the Jonas Brothers is Nick Jonas started his career as a Christian artist. He was signed. He had like some Christmas songs, really young, really young. That's how they started, a Christian artist. It was actually, I think I&O is the name of the record label. They dropped him. Big mistake. It was like a scene from Pretty Woman. I could see him being like, you made a big mistake. He's like 8 years old. You're going to regret this one day. Disney, Hollywood Records. You know, they come in, scoop them up. They make superstars out of them. The world goes nuts. Crystal goes nuts. The Jonas Brothers, flash forward 15 years, they're back. And they're probably going to go on a world tour and sell millions of more records. The song it's catchy. It's pop music, you know? Did you hear it or see any of the video?
I don't even know who the Jonas Brothers are. I'm lost.
Really?
Are you serious?
Kurt, I feel like you would have been a big fan. This is weird.
Yeah.
Didn't one of them get married and lives in India now or something?
Yeah.
2 of them are married.
Okay.
Wait, the youngest one's married too?
Yeah, Nick just married, I can't remember her name.
A celebrity?
She was like Miss Universe or something.
I guess she'll do. She
But
may be good enough
it
for
was
him.
Indian, right? Like
Yeah.
they had that
she's
big
Indian.
Indian wedding that lasted like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a wedding. That's what's
Right?
up.
It was like 2 weeks long. I literally saw a post every single day in the Daily Mail.
I would love to go to India one day.
It'd be awesome.
That's my plan. Maybe this year.
It looked gorgeous, but I
The
just
wedding.
remember that.
And whenever it comes to gorgeous weddings, trust me, Kurt Casper knows about gorgeous
Listen,
weddings.
my wedding in the future is going to be amazing.
I believe it.
Shout out to that person who is my girlfriend right now. I'm going to say that down the road.
So you're just making an announcement that you're going to marry your girlfriend this year?
No!
That's kind of what
But
that came
I
off
feel-
as, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a little much. Maybe
I'm going to
slow
back
the
off a
reins.
little bit.
You bring it on, and then you're going to be
I'm
like,
gonna get in
Gardy, you're going to
trouble.
get me in trouble. No, you get yourself in
I
trouble,
do.
Kurt.
That was one of those moments. I don't know how I come back from that.
I'm going to let you take this.
We should get to go guess.
Anyways, Crystal Life today was the Jonas Brothers are back. Did you
Spot
see
on.
that? Do you care? Did you listen to the single? Is it not going to be as good as the old stuff? Does anybody know who the Jonas Brothers are? Kurt said he does not know, but then he went on to like talk about their weddings and everything, so I feel like he might have been lying.
It might have been just a little bit.
I don't know who the Jonas Brothers are. Didn't like this one get married here and this one and that? And I'm like, yeah. Good morning, Joe Perez. Shout out to Texas Chronicles, History, Mystery, and Adventure. I saw that he went and shot an episode of Texas Chronicles last night. I believe it's like at the Posh Salon and Spa, which is next to the Pokey place, or that's next door to it.
Did he get that because he didn't want to hit his last one was the Pokey place, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I think it's some of the same management or ownership. But no, that's really cool. So we got our guests in studio. And I'm excited to get this going, and this is going to be a good time. So we usually talk about we have interns here, right? And they are our legal counsel. Whenever we think if something is a good idea or a bad idea, we usually say, legal? Is that a good idea? And it's just like they're kind of our common sense meters, and they're like, that's a really bad idea, and we're like, thank you. So this is going to be the first time that we've had an actual lawyer in studio. Grace,
Yes.
You're a lawyer, right?
Yes, I am.
So what is the name of your practice, or where do you what kind of law do you work with, and how does that go?
Okay. My practice is called GP Shoemakers PLLC. We have our main office here in Galveston on South Shore in League City.
Mm-hmm.
We practice estate planning, probate, divorce, and business law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know there's like family law.
Yes.
But that's something different.
No.
Or it's still it's still kind of in there.
It's in there. So family law is divorces, it's child support, it's visitation, it's adoptions, it's guardianships. It's all related, so we all do that.
Okay, cool. And then can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Dina White. I work with John Miller Allstate in Pearland, and Grace and I partner up frequently in what we do because it all overlaps, it all intertwines.
It does. Yeah, whenever you're planning for the future, whenever it comes to your kids, like family law, or, right now, there's a couple of instances where I see like my grandparents and, power of attorney and what's going to happen, taking care of them. And it's like, hey, was there a will? Like, what's going on? That's all very important decisions that need to be made before it's like, hey, we're in an emergency.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what Grace and I have lately. We've really kind of been on a mission to educate families. We do talks. We like to partner with a healthcare professional, and we'll go to their office, and we have talks where we explain the importance of making sure that everything is set. If for something happens and your main breadwinner is all of a sudden not there, how does your family carry on without a break in your plan? Because really what Grace focuses on is what is your plan and how does that carry on?
Yes, but the plan is, do you have the legal documents in place to take care of your family? Excuse me. And that it's not just after that. It's like you said, it's the power of attorneys. It's making sure you have the medical releases that you can talk to people. Dina tells me I'm talking too fast, so I'll slow down.
Oh, yeah, you're doing good.
Okay, so we want to help people before they have to go to court.
Yes.
And the problem is people think, oh, we don't need to do an estate plan because we're young. The problem is if you don't plan when you're young, it's going to cost you a lot more when you're older, or it's going to cost you a lot more because something will happen to you and you won't have anything.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if that truck is going to hit you on your way to work. Though there was a big accident on 45 this morning, so that's what makes me think about the accident, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, there's a lot of construction going on too, and you hear, it's always better to be prepared, know what your plan of action is, and just have that stuff in place so your family's taken care of.
Yes.
Like for me, I didn't have life insurance until I got married and had kids. Actually, I didn't even have it whenever we first got married. Then it was like started having kids, and it was like, yeah, we better figure some stuff out just in case. You never know, and then making sure it is what you think it is, I guess, because you can think you have everything taken care of, and then like after I pass away, it may leave a burden because there's like a fight going on or some kind of stuff. Right now, we got 15 seconds. After this, we're going to go on the FM as well. We're streaming live on Facebook. Again, share this video out. This is KHEA Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. We're excited to be talking about planning for the future and everything this entails. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is Friday morning, and I'm so excited to be talking to some special guests that we have in studio. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We're going to be talking about planning for the future, making sure that your family's taken care of, not just today, but many years from now. So, Grace, can you kind of introduce what you work with and exactly what your job is?
Okay. My name is Grace Shoemakers. I'm the attorney at GP Shoemakers PLLC. We are a law firm that helps people deal with the big life events. So we'll help you set up your estate plan. We will help you go through probate in case someone you love died.
What is probate, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, probate can be many things. Probate is what you have to go through if somebody in your family died without a will and you need to sell their home and you need to get access to their bank accounts. You need to go to the judge and get permission from the judge to substitute their signature with your signature.
Okay.
So this is an after-death event. If you have a will, you have to go through probate too. But sometimes people will have to go through probate. It's called living probate. It's when people develop Alzheimer or dementia or end up in a coma, and people don't have power of attorneys to act on their behalf.
Okay.
So then the judge will appoint someone according to who they deem fit to take that role on.
I have a question about that because whenever it comes to wills, does it have to be official, like stamped or something? Because Curt keeps writing up this will where he leaves me all his debt, and I told him I don't think that counts, but he's like, dude, I'm leaving you all my debt, and I said, Curt, I don't want this, and he's like,
I
too
went on
bad.
that train,
It's
too.
official.
Well,
Is it official?
Well, if it's all in his signature, it
Yeah.
might be. But here's the thing. There's this wonderful thing. It's called disclaimer.
Okay.
You can tell him no, and then he'll be dead. And he cannot say, no, you really have to take it. You just say no.
Okay, so as long this goes on record, all of the documents Curt has drafted up. The answer is no, Curt.
Yes. You said yes.
Let the record show at 9:09 Friday morning, and this beautiful. It's March 1, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
March the 1st, the year of our Lord, 2019. The answer is no, Curt. When it comes to debt, everything else I'll take if it's worth something.
Crystal is our legal here at KHEA Radio. Crystal, I will let you have the Jeep Compass as well as my prized possession in life, Pip.
The cat. It's a cat.
Will you overturn this ruling?
You know, I gotta be honest. Usually for a cute cat, I would say yes, but I have 2 dogs, and my dog would eat your cat. So I'm gonna have to go with Gardy on this one.
Notice how the Jeep, I feel like it would be more of a headache than it would be a blessing.
The Jeep Compass is famous.
The bad boy is not worth anything.
Oh,
You can keep
man.
No. So,
That's what everyone said when I tried to turn it in for trade, too. They're like,
yeah, I've gone to some car dealerships, and they're like, I don't know. But, so that's interesting. I'm glad we have your
Official legal.
Yeah, the official legal, because that actually lifts a lot off my shoulders, because I have been concerned. This dude like writing down on a napkin or a receipt every time, and he's like,
Not
"Here's my
legal
debt."
if it's not on a
It's
paper
like a
plate.
reverse love letter. That's not the purpose of it.
Okay. And so, how do you work with Allstate? How does that work?
So when people come in and they want to discuss their estate plan, or they go through a life-changing event like a divorce or something else like that, when we deal with child support, we try to educate people on how life insurance can actually help you for pennies on the dollar. Since I don't sell life insurance, I can educate them about it, and then I can give him Dina's name, and then Dina can tell him what types of life insurance there are. There's so many different ones. Dina, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Dina, again, say where you're located, and then what the name of the branch is.
So we're located in Pearland, right on Broadway. It's the John Miller Allstate Agency. We're in the parking lot with Chili's, so you can leave me and go get you some tacos.
We love tacos.
Yes, I know. I saw your little exploding kitty. I love that. So, and what I do is I sit down and I basically do, based on the information that Grace has given me, based on the information that the client gives me, do like a needs-based analysis and decide, so for the plans that you have, what would you need to fund that? And do you need something that is for a certain period of time, which would be term insurance, which is the big bang for the buck. Like,
Okay.
people don't realize how inexpensive term insurance is. It can be used for many different things. It can be used for mortgage protection. It can be used for a plan to pay off debt or to pay for college should something happen. And then there's whole life, which of course goes for your whole life. And that can be used as an investment tool. So it all depends on what their plan is. And that is why we sit down with them and we take a look at each individual case and we decide at that point which way we should go.
So the term insurance you were kind of mentioning, it's for a certain amount of time. So if I said, hey, for the next 5 to 10 years, I wanted to have this, or what's the normal amount of time for like a term insurance plan?
It depends on what your purpose is. If
Okay.
if you have like a 10-year goal, then of course there's a 10-year plan. But if you're trying to cover a mortgage, if you're saying, hey, my wife and I are young, we just bought this house, if something happens to one or the other of us, we don't want to leave this burden on the head of, my spouse. I have a 30-year mortgage, then we'll do like a 30-year term. And then what happens is term insurance is like car insurance. That's why it's so cheap. So at the end of the 30 years, the insurance goes away because you've taken care of the issue that you were trying to cover.
What about kids going to college? Is there anything where you could get term insurance on that if something happened? It's like, hey, I'm paying for my kid's college, or is there something where you can save now to be able to take care of that later?
There is. That's a whole life product, and we have a couple of different of those. And it whole life can get the way that you get the cash value in whole life is the way that we invest it. So certain policies invest in CDs. It's a very safe product, absolutely guaranteed slow growth. There's a mid-range which the insurance company will invest in the index. So like the S&P 500, where it's indexed, but it's not stock market. And then there's a product that we have a financial specialist that takes care of. That is actually, they invest your money in the stock market, and that gives you the rapid growth. So it really depends on what you want to do with your money, and that's what we find out when we sit down and we talk and we have that initial consultation.
Okay, cool. Curt, whenever it comes to insurance and planning ahead, and what are your thoughts on that?
For me, I'm a single dude, so, well, I'm not married. I'm not single, but I'm not married.
He has to be careful. that can cause him to be single if he says that.
Phone calls.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I have a girlfriend, but I'm not married. So having a God, this is having I don't have people I need to worry about those kind of things,
Well,
right?
you kind of do, because how are you going to pay for your burial? Is that a cost that you want to be putting on your loved ones? Because burials are expensive.
Wait, should I put that in my will for Gardy to have to be in charge of?
So if you have life insurance to cover all the debt you're trying to leave Gardy, then he would probably say, okay, dude, I'm in.
Yeah,
So
I would take that insurance payout.
being single and being young, it's never going to get cheaper than it is right now. So if you have insurance now that you're paying for at this age and this health, and not at 50 when you have diabetes and you've eaten too many tacos, it's so much cheaper. It's a good investment.
Okay, that makes sense whenever you say it that way. Okay, one thing I heard about was like protecting your estate. If you're young, whenever you think of the word estate, I think of like Beauty and the Beast, like the castle, and it's like, now that's an estate. Or I'm looking at like Chuck Norris has an estate. Me, I don't have an estate. If I have a house, like, when is a good time, like, whenever you consider, like, okay, yeah, I have an estate, is that just considered like another name for a house, or?
Well, it can be a house. It can be your bank account. It can be pictures that you have. I mean, if you have pictures, there's copyright to it. If you're in a picture with someone, say you're in a relationship with someone who's famous,
Okay.
they can take your pictures away from your family and they cannot get it. There's a lot of things that you need to or should protect.
Yes.
And anything that requires your signature to move assets around, like title documents, like cars, like houses, like, well, I don't know, maybe you have some RVs or Jeeps. Yes, for example.
Jeep Compass.
Yeah.
That's an estate.
It is an estate.
I didn't realize, because I live in a condo. I rent a condo. It's just me. My kids are grown. I didn't realize the importance of even me having a will, because I'm thinking, what am I leaving? Nothing. And Grace was like, well, they can't even sell your car to pay off your debts if you don't have. I didn't realize, even down to the most simple, for those of us that live very simply, that even then it's important, until I sat with Grace and she explained it. And I think that's the key, is it's very hard for us to say everything that we do and how we work. Even in this program where you're allowing us to explain, we have to sit with each individual person.
Yeah, Dina, what are some common misconceptions whenever it comes to life insurance and just insurance in general?
I can't afford it. I don't need it because I'm young, because I'm healthy, because I'm old, and my burial's paid for. My kids have benefits through the military. They get to go to college for free. So why do I need to set up something for the future for them? I think, we never plan truly for the future. The reason I'm so passionate about what I do is my dad died when I was 16, my mom died when I was 18, and they didn't have life insurance. And the things that might have been for me, like being able to go to college, or, for my brother not having to go into the military, or how different our life might have been. So all the plans that my parents had for us, they didn't know how to plan to make those things happen. It wasn't so much about, our life was terrible. It was all the things that they had planned for us, leaving us their home and this and that and the other. None of that was possible because they didn't know how to plan. And so for me, that's where the passion comes in. I want to make sure people understand, sometimes at 36 you do die. And then what? And it's not exciting. Like, nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody acts so surprised, like they don't know they're gonna die.
Right. Yeah.
It's a hard subject, and so I try to make it as easy as possible, as good natured as possible, but it is something that we have to plan for. And I think the misconception is, I don't need it right now, I'll take care of it later. And sometimes there's just not later.
Yeah. Grace, so what made you want to go and practice law, like go to law school? That's a tough journey. What made you want to do that, choose this route?
It's the protection that it offers.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of things that go wrong that I'm like, okay, we need to find a better way for it. And another thing that really got me into estate planning is, for example, I had a grandma who died without a will. And when you die without a will, you have to prove who your heirs are, and then there's an issue about distribution and all the other stuff. But, you know, when I hear people say, oh, grandma was the glue that kept the family together, I think grandma was the glue that made everything unhinged, because she left a mess and then people start fighting. And I don't want people to lose family connections and family ties just because someone thought, oh, I will live forever. Because, I mean, what? The average lifespan is just a statistic.
Right.
People die when they're really young or when they're really old, and you don't know when your time is up. So it's something that it's the ultimate love letter to say, hey, I care enough about my family to leave them in a situation where they don't have to clean up the mess that I created because I didn't care enough.
Where are your offices located again?
My main office is located in League City in South Shore.
Okay, League City and South Shore.
Yeah.
What's it close to?
Well, the South Shore Convention.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because we go to, Sloppy Nick's. I don't know, have you ever been to Sloppy Nick's or Pomodoros or Cupcake Cache? Or we're going to a place called Sundance Grill next week. But I know that's all like in that South Shore area and
Sundance
the
is
convention
fantastic.
center over there.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. And again, what are all of the areas that you can help people out if they are looking for a lawyer?
Wills, trusts, probate. We help with power of attorneys. We help with guardianships. We help with adoptions. We help with the ugly side of family law, like divorces, visitation.
Yeah.
We help with business succession planning. This is a big thing because a lot of people who have small businesses that are entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs is a big thing these days, they don't realize that if they don't have the proper insurance connected to it and they don't have the financial backup on it, they cannot get the value out of the business to feed their family once they're gone. And these are things that we try to tie in and educate people on to make sure that, you know, there are no surprises when the time comes that something should have been on paper.
Okay. You know, hearing all of these reasons, it's almost like, it has me wondering, are there any like happy reasons where somebody has to come and work with you? And if not, like what kind of toll does that take on you? Does it take a toll?
Well, it's I mean, I'm very empathic, so I like working with people, but it's the toll is when you see the frustration in the families that, well, everybody thinks their loved ones have a will. Everybody thinks,
Yeah.
Mom, Dad, everybody has a will. But 70% of the population does not. It's also the population that has children. 69% have not set up any guardianships for their younger children. So if something happens to you and the police comes knocking because you're not going to come home or you're not going to pick up your child from daycare or childcare or school, they will put them with CPS until they find someone legally allowed to watch them. And this is double trauma for the children. I'm very careful because children, whatever they see in childhood, this is what forms their life expectancy and their life views. And if you give them the drama of, oh, Mom and Daddy didn't take care of this, you're going to go and you find out something happened to them and then we're going to put you with strangers. It's a double whammy that really nobody needs to have.
Mm-hmm. What kind of process and how difficult or easy is it to set up like a guardianship or set up, a will? What kind of process is that?
A will is really easy. We give people a questionnaire. It tells you, well, who are your heirs? Who are your children? Who do you want to disinherit? Who do you want to give something that's not related to you? And I mean, it can be in like as little as an hour if it's not very complex. If it's very complex, it takes more time. But the reason why everybody needs to have a will is just for the fact to identify the people that should inherit when you're no longer there.
So for someone like me,
Yes.
right? Like again, no family here
You
in
have a
Texas.
cat.
I have a cat.
Who takes care of your cat?
Me.
No, when you're done.
Right.
You need to write it down.
So do I need a will? Like, is that something that for me I need to have without a family?
Yes. So I have a friend who lost her brother, and her brother was unmarried, had a car, was a clunker, and he died. He suddenly got sick. He died, and the problem was they had to go to court to get the permission to sell that car. Well, lo and behold, somebody came out of the woodwork, claimed that they had their love baby. Well, then you have to prove that it's not your baby. Then you have to prove all the other things. So it's a process. You never know where it's going to take you. Did you have your will?
Yeah.
You could have said, well, this is my family.
Yeah. Are there ever any cases where the will, somebody comes out and like that happened? It's like, well, they are the child, or they are related, or we found another document where it says this one overrides that one. Are there ever any other cases where that happens?
Well, if there's a latter will, the last one in time,
the newest
prevails if it's correctly executed.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have wills that are not correctly executed. They're not notarized. They don't have any witnesses. They have other issues with them. It becomes messy.
It's on a paper plate.
Yeah, I've seen some messy things where somebody gets remarried and there's the kids, and then the new person kind of gets like, hey, write all your kids out of the will and put them to my kids, or all that stuff, and some really weird things happen. So it can get messy, huh?
It happens. I mean, sometimes people leave everything to their spouse thinking they will never get remarried, or didn't even think about it, and having someone who gives you the possibilities and the what ifs is very important, because if you don't know what you're planning for, your plan probably will not work for your situation. But there's way that you can plan so that, if your spouse ever remarries, that your children will not be disinherited. There's ways to plan that the person who is, for example, correctly in the way you want your children to be educated, that they will educate them that way, but they don't have the financial. So therefore you get the life insurance so that the person who is right to raise the children has the children, not the person who might not be right but has the financial power to do that.
This sounds exactly like a film in Hollywood. Like you see that all the time. Like, oh, well, the will, reading of the will.
Yes.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
That happens, right?
Well, it happens.
It does. And well, one of the things that I'd like everybody right now to pull out their life insurance policy. If you've had life changes and you got married 15 years ago, you got divorced, you got remarried, life insurance doesn't automatically go to your current spouse. That person that you don't ever want to talk to again ever is going to get your life insurance if you don't call your life insurance agent. So please check your life insurance policy, call your life insurance agent, make sure that you've got things set up the way that they need to. It's life insurance is not something you do once and forget about. Your life insurance agent should be talking to you at least once a year, making sure that your life changes are accounted for in your policies and stuff. So if you haven't heard from your life insurance agent in a while, I'm pretty cool.
Yeah. Dina, what's the best way to bring that topic up, like life insurance, to your significant other or family? Because that may be something they don't want to talk about, because it's not easy. Is there like a right time or the right way to do that?
Well, I think you have to do it in a conversation where you go, listen, this is a hard conversation, but especially if you're married, you have hard conversations with your spouse all the time. It's, what are we going to do with the kids? Where are they going to college? How are we going to raise them? This kind of thing. It's an act of love. It's like Grace says, it's an act of love. You sit down with your family and go, hey, this is something we have to talk about. What do we want to plan for? Do we want to get, the kids' college taken care of with this? We don't have kids yet. Well, are we going to have kids? It's just a conversation that you have. There's no easy way for me to look at you and go, you're going to die. Let's take care of it. It just has to happen.
Let's say that I didn't want to have that conversation. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. Is there a way for the other person to cover them and be like, well, I'm doing this anyway? Do they have to let them know, or how does that work?
You do have to let your beneficiary know, and you do have to have, if you can take out a policy on your spouse, but she has to sign that she knows. Because again, going back to Hollywood, the insurance company is all about risk, and they want to make sure that you're not taking out a $100,000 policy on Gardy and then you're going to run him over with his Jeep.
Yes.
To get that policy, like there's there's safeguards in place to make sure, and one of them, you can take out a policy on your spouse.
But they would have to sign.
They would have to sign saying that they know that is.
So what you're saying is I need to get Gardy's signature then.
Yes.
Can we for our show? Like
we can talk
Oh.
later. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
There are ways to get around his signature. You can put it in trust. That way he doesn't need to know about it.
Why
Okay.
we work together.
What is a trust? What does a trust mean? What else can you put in trust?
anything that needs to have a signature on it. So it means you can put your bank account in the trust, you can put your life insurance in the trust, you can make anything that has a beneficiary, like your IRAs, your retirement accounts. You need to appoint someone on there. You can put your life, the proceeds of it into your trust.
Yeah.
So the trust can be a beneficiary. Boats go in there. I mean,
Whenever I
bank
think of a
accounts.
trust, I think of like a very, very rich person,
Right.
and they are like, "Oh, this trust is for my kids." You know, I don't think of like me. Like, do I need a trust? Like, what? You know, I could leave something, but what? Yeah, what?
The
Is it good for
question
me?
is, what is important to you?
Mhm.
So if you value privacy, a trust might be a way to go, because if you go through probate, it's public. Your will or non-will is going to be posted online. Everybody in the world can see it. If you have any value in there needs to be an inventory filed during probate, so everybody can see this. So if you don't want the whole world to know what you're going to leave your wife or your children, or you know, someone that we're not supposed to talk about,
Yeah.
you put it in trust, because only the beneficiary will find out that way. It's not public. So there are reasons to have it. Then there are different types of trust. There's asset protection trust. That's what you think of when you have a lot of money. Or there is a living revocable trust.
I was just about ready to say, I got to get my hot dog suit entrusted, because that suit is worth $2.5 million.
He has a hot dog suit.
I wanna
He
see
does
that
videos.
suit.
Well, I got you one better. He looks like this.
It looks exactly like this.
So, Kurt, can you show him? If somebody hasn't seen the hot dog suit, this is Mr. Casper. That's exactly what he looks like.
So yesterday I went home after work, and I had a date last night, and I showed up in the hot dog suit with flowers, and that was kind of...
Did that work good for you?
Did it work?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I got the right one.
Okay, here's something that I want to talk about, because I've thought about this. So I have quite a few guitars. I have quite a few instruments, and I always wonder, and I've had this conversation with my wife, what are my kids going to do with my guitars, with my instruments? Because I've had some since I was like kid, you know, like 20 years. You know, some of them are even like 30 years old.
The assets.
I want to protect the assets. They're at the house. I know they're safe. I know where all of them are. But one day, I don't know who's going to get what. Is that something that, I don't know if a trust or the other stuff, what should I do with those things?
Do you know who you want them to have?
I don't know. Whichever one's not going to sell them and keep them. Is there a way to put that in there? Be like, I don't want these sold. Hang on to them. Maybe learn to plan, pass them down again. You know, I don't want you to sell them. Please don't sell them.
Your child over here wants
Right.
them.
He gets nothing.
Dang.
He's trying to hit me with his Jeep and take out an insurance policy on my life. But yeah, is there a way to say that? Like, whoever doesn't sell them, maybe like half and half, you know, and please don't sell them. Is there a way to say that, or are they allowed to do whatever they want?
You could say it, but let me tell you something about gift giving. When you're the gifter and you give somebody a present, you have no control over it
Okay.
at that time.
They get nothing.
She tapped into your control issues.
I do have some control issues.
Crystal's like holding her mouth over here like, well, both Kurt and Gardy do.
We do have control issues. Yeah, I think everybody does to an
A
extent,
little
right?
bit. We want to be in control of our life.
Everybody
But
wants to
you're
be in
dead,
control.
so who cares?
If you're dead, then yeah, you can't really have much control unless you leave a will.
Or
you
trust.
have- yes.
But yeah, it's just how control-ish are you, and how far do you want to?
I remember, so my grandma and grandpa, they have these paintings on the top part of their wall, and they're like super old, like, and they're just of like horses. And I remember being like
I want those.
4 years old, and my grandma was like, pick one. So I picked one. So my name's on the back of one, and eventually I'll get one of those. But I remember being 4 and they were doing that. And I'm like, you're gonna die? You know, like, you don't think of that at age 4. But
Right.
since 4, I've had my picture picked out. And I'll
Are you
get it
excited?
eventually.
Are you excited to get that one day?
No.
Well, your grandmother's listening.
No.
Is she listening?
No, she's not listening. But man,
She should be listening because this is great.
I'm not excited. But I just remember, like, no, I don't, you know, yeah.
Well, what? Okay, here's the deal. So I wonder if your grandmother has a will, and if that's officially in there, because somebody else could take that.
I know she has a will, because she did tell me in her will that apparently I have to sing at her funeral. I haven't sang in for years.
Are those things that you can set up in that? Be like your
What if
last
I-
wishes or something, or?
Well, I don't know if the eulogy can be affected, but you can, in your funeral arrangements, you can set things up where, you know, you can ask Curt to sing if that's really what you want.
Is that bad? Like, what if I don't want to sing at her funeral? Like, can I back out
It's
of the
not
will?
about you,
She's
Curt.
coming back.
Do you ever? Okay, so in
I need to
the
start taking lessons again.
whenever it comes to wills and being left things, is there ever a case where somebody's like, "Hey, I do not want this."
Yeah, you can disclaim.
You
can say
can?
thank you, but no thank you, and move on.
Okay, and that's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So can I give you a little advice?
Sure.
Leave your kids enough life insurance that they don't need to sell the guitars for video games.
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
They have, they're taken care of. If anything ever happens, they are good to go.
Yeah.
Everyone should be good. I just want them to play. I want them to learn to play. And I guess obviously they could do whatever they wanted with it, but hopefully somebody
old are
gets
they?
it. 2 and 6.
Start giving them lessons early, and that way they develop a love for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they listen and sing. They like a lot. But my son, like, I tried lessons last year, and I was like, he's not ready. You know, he needs a little bit more time and maybe to find something that he wants to
If
do.
it's a full-size guitar, it might not fit him right now.
Yeah, no, I tried the smallest guitar you can think of to the biggest guitar, and I'm like, what works for you? And he's like, my fingers hurt. And I'm like, okay, you'll get there.
See, you two could work together. You could get him the lessons now, and then instead of you having to sing, you could put him in the hot dog suit. Nobody would know it wasn't you. You got things.
Sing in the hot dog
work
suit.
together. Yeah.
That could work.
You do have to go back to Nebraska to do it.
I'm never going to Nebraska.
Okay.
Why is the suit in Nebraska?
No.
The
My
grandma's
is
in Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm not from Texas. I'm originally from Nebraska.
Grace, where are you from? Are you from this area?
No, I'm from the Netherlands.
Cool.
I kind of picked it up.
The
Big
Netherlands,
accent.
exactly.
Not the Netherlands, but I heard a little bit of an accent.
Yes, it's there.
How long have you been here?
In Texas since
Yes.
Christmas 08. In
Cool.
the US since 04.
Okay.
Yeah, a while.
So whenever it comes to, you know, the United States and Netherlands, like, what are the differences whenever it comes to law? I mean, how's
It's
that different?
major because European is civil law. It's code-based.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's common law. The judges make it up for you. So that's the main one.
Does that benefit us as individuals here, or is it better just because it's set?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on the situation if you win or not. I
Depends on how
guess.
good your lawyer is.
Well, no, it depends on how good your case is.
Yeah.
Because you might have a really bad case and not even a really good lawyer can make much off of
You
it.
can't paint the picture. Yeah, if you're given like bad stuff, you can't paint it and make a masterpiece whenever you don't have the right tools, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I have to add, so the Netherlands close to Poland, right? Like, I don't know.
Okay, do you know where England is?
Yes.
Do you know where France is?
Yes.
Do you know where the channel is in between?
No.
No. Yes, I do. I've been on that channel
Okay,
from England.
so if
to
you go to
France.
France, above France is Belgium, correct?
Yes.
Above Belgium is the Netherlands.
Okay.
So it's west of Germany.
So I was saying this because we like going to Pierogi Queen, which is located in Lake City. Have you ever been to Pierogi Queen
No, I
before?
have not.
It's Polish food.
Polish food.
Delicious.
But the accent is very similar,
Is it?
a little bit, to what they have at Pierogi Queen. Have you ever had pierogies before? Is it?
I have not. I'm missing out, I guess.
Oh, it's so
They're the
good.
best.
You need to try pierogies.
Yes, Pierogi Queen is amazing. So that's what I was thinking of when I heard the accent.
You have to excuse him.
Everything goes back to food.
So right now it is 9:36. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We're talking about life insurance. We're talking about planning for the future. We're also talking about steps you need to take whenever it comes to a will, power of attorney, setting up a trust. Are you prepared for forever? And are your kids prepared for
It's not
that
forever.
as well?
It's for tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
What does that mean?
What's the difference?
You don't know if you're going to be hit by the truck tomorrow.
That's true.
Oh, that makes
Hopefully
sense.
not, but you never know.
You saw this on your way up here? You
was
should have
bad.
brought pictures and so then we could show it on our show as we were doing
Keep it upbeat. Keep it kid friendly. Here's this terrible accident.
Yeah.
Plan for tomorrow.
We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on our Facebook stream. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is KHEARadio.com. It's 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Magnify by We Are Messengers. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. Stay tuned. Hey, did you see somebody message us earlier? It was Will. Is he?
I responded.
Thank you.
He's our
Cool.
10 o'clock guest.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. This is the time to do it for sure.
We have a pretty intense show today. When you think about it,
Every
we're talking
day's
about
intense.
life insurance, and then we're talking about sobriety during the 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's a pretty deep show. We usually talk about food and stuff. It's different.
Are there any stipulations you can put in there? Like, let's say if I had an adult son and maybe he struggled like with sobriety or something, I'm like, well, if you can stay on the right path, then this trust, you'll get this stuff at this time. Is that something you can set up?
You can put it in there that, for example, he has access to it unless such and such event happens, which could be sobriety, it could be
marriage,
divorce, it could be marrying someone you don't want them to marry.
They say they can't be with that person to get that stuff.
Wow.
I mean, you can do well. Sometimes we don't know what we do, and our parents see it coming. So there are situations where it's warranted. Some situations are not, but it's your family dynamic. It's good to have these talks with your family that they understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's tough. It can be
It's
tough.
kind of actually a natural marriage because if you can get to sobriety and stay to sobriety, you might not need life insurance as quickly. It's a good segue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Is this the same people that we met at PMA, the Houston Sober Living people? Is that the same people that we met that
I believe
day?
so. So we met these people at Premier Martial Arts in Dickinson. Al Garza's Premier Martial Arts. He was watching earlier. We really love what they do with the community and for the community for years, teaching a bunch of kids. Yeah, so we were there meeting and shooting a small video, and somebody came to the door, and what they were doing is participating in a program. So they're trying to fundraise, selling, I think it was tamales and some other stuff. But it's judge appointed, I believe, sometimes where you complete the program, and if you're getting out of jail and you need to kind of participate in something positive, I think, and be held accountable. So that's what Houston Sober Living is. It was pretty cool.
We did get a quick question here. This is from Brock. He said, "What is a Polish dish?" Can you ask that or answer that really fast?
What is a Polish dish? So it is a dish that is Polish, tradition from Poland.
Pierogies. It has,
kielbasa. I had some kielbasa last night and the night before. Polish sausage. They have delicious sausage.
Goulash, I think, is the most famous.
That's Hungarian.
Stuffed.
Oh, just kidding.
They have stuffed cabbage.
Yeah.
We also have like pickle soup. And they have Polish pickles are a thing. So they don't use, I believe it's vinegar. They just use salt and water, and they pickle their. You're making a face, but it's delicious. I'm telling you, it's delicious.
No, I know what it is.
Oh, you don't like Polish pickles? Okay, well, I'll call them real pickles, but I like pickles like if you go to the movie theater, like a big old pickle. I also like Polish pickles. And the pickle soup is good because it doesn't, you think about it, it's like, you think of what I would call an American pickle, but it's different.
We're getting a bunch of questions coming in. Nona, and maybe we can...
Ask it. Go ahead and ask it now.
Ask it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Nona says, for guardianship, do both parents have to agree and sign? Or if one parent has sole custody, can they make that decision and it be granted?
No. Texas law still gives the other parent the right to get it if the main one dies. I mean, you can write up paperwork saying why this person should be disqualified, and that way the judge can make up their decision once it comes before the court during the probate procedure. But you cannot automatically, as the sole custodian, say, "Hey, I'm going to make sure that my ex, does not get the child."
Yeah.
It's not.
So it'll be for the judge to decide.
Yeah.
But you can write it up and say this
write
is
it
why.
up, because if you don't write it up, nobody is going to be your voice. If it's written down, somebody will show it to him, and then there is something for the judge to view versus just the opinion of people that are behind that might side with the other side.
So I'm going to take this question to the next step a little bit. So let's say, for instance, guardianship, but the parents, let's say, for instance, the mom is married to somebody else and they're really close to that kid, and let's say the mom passes away but the dad stays. Are you following kind of the scenario?
I follow it, but unless there's an adoption in this situation, it makes not much difference.
It doesn't. Okay.
And
so
you can't adopt if there is a mother, like someone else out there.
You can try and adopt, and you'll have to go through a court process and see if you can terminate the rights of the other parents.
Okay.
Parent, but it's a struggle. It doesn't always work.
So they could be part of that family. The mom passes away, and then the kid has to go back with the other dad and not with the dad that they're used to.
Unless there's good reason for it
Wow.
not to happen, it's probably what will happen.
Okay.
That's intense.
That's why you want to write your wishes down, and you want to leave them with your lawyer or a trusted advisor who'll show them to the judge and say, I understand that my child will have to go back with their other parent, but it's my wish that there would be visitation granted. And then a judge can take that stuff into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So then we had another question here. This came in from Caitlin, and Caitlin asked, what is the typical cost for estate planning, like wills and things?
There's no typical cost because every situation is a personal choice. So we have sliding fees, we do flat fees. There are other people, I mean, you can get it really cheaply done for LegalZoom, but the question is, are you getting what you need? There's no one that will sit you down and educate you. The value is really in the education and you understanding what your options are and having a lawyer or another person in front of you, which in Texas is a lawyer, to explain, well, this is your situation. I understand your personal needs and this is what we can do. Tell me what you like to have done. Because I'm not going to tell you what you need. I'm going to tell you your options. And then based on your life values, you're going to tell me what it is that you want to plan for, what you don't think you need to plan for, and whatever's in between.
Okay, right now we're talking to Grace. She is a local lawyer located in that League City South Shore area. Can you say one more time the name of the firm and where that exact address is?
Okay, it's GP Shoemakers PLLC, and we're located at 2600 South Shore Boulevard in League City, 77573.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you practice in family law, custody issues, also planning, wills and estates and trusts and making sure that your family's taken care of, and that's where, Allstate comes in, right?
Yes.
And what kind of services can you offer whenever it comes to this?
Well, a variety of things. We can help you plan ahead to where if something happens to you, college education is taken care of. We can help you make sure that the worst day of your family's life isn't truly the worst day of your family's life, because there's going to be funds coming in to pay off the house, to pay off the funeral, to make sure things are taken care of. So, they're not having to go back to work the day after your funeral because they won't be able to pay for the light bill, those kind of things. That's where we come in.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that Dina always reminds me of is that GoFundMe is not the way to go.
Correct. GoFundMe is not life insurance.
That's not a proactive approach.
No.
It's kind of like a, what now?
Yeah.
I need $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to take care of expenses in
the
a funeral.
thing is while you're waiting for your GoFundMe to hit that $30,000, 5 or 6 months has gone by, and at this point you've lost your house, you're behind in your bills, you're looking at going bankrupt, and you're still waiting for the GoFundMe to fund and to be able to get the funds to pay off, or you're having a barbecue, or you're standing on a street corner, and that's just not something you want to put your family through. You don't want your children standing on a street corner with a sign going, "My mom died and we need to pay rent." Like it's really just, that is why we do the education that we do. That's why we do the sessions that we do where we educate families, because it really is an act of love.
Can you share a little bit more about having the guardianship set up? Because I think you even mentioned if you don't have guardianship set up, there is the potential for CPS to come in and being like, well, we don't know. We're going to put them here till we figure out, do they go with grandma? Do they go with the other parent? Or where do they go?
So there are two differences in guardianship. You have long-term guardianship, which is if you're permanently not there anymore. And you have short-term, which is you give a legal document that says, hey, my neighbor is allowed to pick up my child and take care of my child until so-and-so arrives to take care of them permanently. These documents are legally binding when they're notarized. So sometimes you have affidavits that say, okay, this person is allowed to take them to this school or take them to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to you, who's going to take your child to the doctor? Who's going to talk to them? Who's going to be able to fill their prescriptions or, take care of them in the way that they need it? Or if you have a special needs kid, do you know, does the person that needs to come in and pick up the slack where you left off, do they know what this child needs? Do they have special circumstances in their life or special, what's it called? Like tics, I don't mean tics, it means the way you do certain things in your life. So I have a regime, I do
The routine.
the routine. Thank you. That's the word. So if they have certain routines, you don't want it to be disturbed. So these are all the things that you need to put in writing. We give people like a little binder where it has these instructions. This is the doctor. This is what the kid needs. This is who they trust. This is, all lot of things so that the kid still has a feeling of contingency. And it's the feeling of contingency. It's with life insurance. It's with estate planning that you allow people to grieve or allow people to go through their emotions without having to worry about all the other things that you usually take care of. So that this is something what I say think about.
Especially with a special needs situation, that routine is so important.
Yeah.
And that's what we focus on, making sure the routine, that there is a certain level of normal in the abnormal event so that it's truly not as awful as it could be. And that's what we say is don't let the worst day of your family's life truly be the worst day. Give them a certain level of normalcy, a certain level of routine so they can function through the grief.
Well, okay, whenever it comes to insurance, with Allstate, is there what's the best way for somebody to find out what's available to them and what works best for their family? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can call the office. The number's 281-997-9706. Set up an appointment. I do come to you if you need me to. I can come to you. You can come to the office, and we take a look at what you need, what your goals are, what your plan is, what you're trying to make sure gets taken care of. Some people aren't worried so much about taking care of the college, but we still do need to take care of burial expenses and debt. And so it really is so individual that we sit down and we have that conversation. Maybe that conversation you can't have with your family, you can have with me, and I'll ask the questions that maybe you hadn't thought of.
What kind of cost is associated with just having that sit down?
That's free.
So
that's
free.
Totally right. That's a service that we provide just so that you at least know what you need.
The one thing that that I think is really important too to think about is that your life insurance, like now, for at least my age and your age, is going to be better to have it now than it is to have it later because you're going to pay less now.
I think you said it's the most affordable it'll ever be right now.
Today is the cheapest your life insurance is ever going to be.
Yeah.
Because one more day later, it's going to be a little bit more. Because
I went from 50 to 51, and I do not want to talk about how much that jumped if I had to get a new policy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Grace, whenever it comes to somebody sitting down, they want to find more information about setting up a trust, what kind of cost does this entail? How do they get a hold of you, and what kind of a cost is associated with just, I guess, like a consultation and seeing if something fits for them?
So our initial consultation, if people do their homework, it's free.
Okay.
If they don't do their homework, we charge for it. So it will usually the consultations are 2 hours, so it's 2 hours of attorney's fees.
Okay.
But if they hire us, it goes into the plan itself. So then again, the consultation is free. But we like to give people homework because it makes them think about all the things that they didn't want to think about before. It will make them also organized because if you don't know where your stuff is, how do you know to plan for it?
What's the best way for somebody to educate themselves coming into that meeting where they can do their homework? How do they find out that information?
Oh, they call me at 832-408-0505 or they send me an email at grace@gpslawyer.com and I will send them the 27-page questionnaire.
Okay.
That's the homework.
And that'll allow them to read and answer, and you'll be able to find exactly what they're looking for, what works best, and it knocks out a lot of that work.
It will knock out a lot of questions. It will make them think about all the things they didn't want to think about or didn't know to think about.
Sure,
So, yes.
yeah. So we got a little over a minute left. What we're going to do is wait for this track to be done, and then we're going to go back on the FM, talk one more time so everybody can kind of hear the best way to get a hold of, Allstate and Dina, and then with Grace as well. And just, anything else y'all want to say, we'll be able to say over there as well. But
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Right now it's 9:51. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this video out. If you have any questions, also ask. You can type it right there in the little box. If you want to text us, 346-704-1806. We have a couple minutes left where you'll be able to have this opportunity, and then otherwise you're going to have to do the homework. And I know whenever I finished school, I was kind of excited to be done with homework. But if you like homework, hey, be sure to get a call, and you'll be able to get your questions answered as well.
I think we talked about possibly having you guys on more to answer any lawyer question, not just focusing on this stuff, but
We got-
in the future.
Yeah, about 15 seconds. So here we go.
By the way, shout out
We got some
to
questions
Hillsong
right there.
United. It's playing Oceans right now on the FM. What a great song.
They appreciate that
I love
shout
that
out.
song.
Here we go.
Great song.
5 seconds. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. It's 9:52. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We're going to be on till 11 a.m. Right now, we're talking about insurance. We're talking about, lawyers and getting advice and all kinds of stuff. But we have Dina from Allstate in Pearland, right?
It's John Miller Agency in Pearland.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can call 281-997-9706, or they can email me, dinawhite@allstate.com.
Okay, and we have Grace. You are a local lawyer practicing in family law and a bunch of other parts of that as well. But how can somebody get a hold of you and maybe use your services?
Okay, the best way to do it is to call our office. It's 832-408-0505, or you can send me personally an email, which is grace@gpslawyer.com.
Cool. And we have one question from Caitlin that we want to get answered, and then we can kind of leave on this note. And this is a great question. She said, what are some factors we should consider when deciding who to leave our children and assets to?
One is who is the best with your children, who knows how to take care of them in the way that you want to take care of them. And assets is, don't do everything equally if you don't have to, because sometimes we have children who need more than the other child because they have special needs. Or there might be other family situations where, some kids are better established than others. So there's a whole list of aspects that might be important to you that will be taken in account when you do the planning.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Is there anything else y'all would like to share?
Love your family.
Love your family.
Love your family.
Appreciate the time you have together, but still plan for the future. Oh, I remember. Don't y'all also have some classes sometimes, or?
We do family information sessions. We had one yesterday at the library. We're also trying to put together a virtual presentation that kind of puts all this information together and presents it in a way that you could access at will. We're working on getting that up and running. We'll put it on Facebook, our John Miller Allstate Facebook page, GP Shoemaker's Facebook page. We'll advertise those things and get those up so that people can find us.
Yeah. Give us a call. Maybe we can help with that virtual stuff.
That would be great.
We know some people that may be able to help. But right now it's 9:55. We're going to take a quick break again. Thank y'all so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Yes I Will by Vertical Worship on KHEARadio.com. Yeah. Okay. Thank y'all so much.
No, thank you.
Did y'all have a good time?
Yes. It was fun. It can be on really any subject.
Cool.
Like mortgage protection is something that I'm focusing on now, and she focuses on different areas.
Awesome.
So just let us know.
Okay. Thank you. Facebook, y'all are awesome. Thank you for sharing this video out. Thank you for asking all those questions. If there's anything that we can help, whether that's contact information for Dina, contact information for Grace, let us know, and we'll point you in that right direction. Something else that I need to remind y'all of: if you like this video, if you comment and you share it out, tonight, you have the opportunity to get an extra pound of crawfish. Who's going to say no to an extra pound of crawfish? Not me. I want that extra pound of crawfish. All you got to do is share, like, comment on this video. Just say hi, anything. And then tonight at Fub on Me Bistro and Grill, located in Leak City, right there off of 646 in that Bay Colony strip, you have the opportunity to get that extra crawfish. We got our next guest in studio. How's it going?
Going well.
My name's Gardy. Will?
Gardy. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Gardy.
Clay, pleasure to meet you.
Will and Clay. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, y'all can have some seats.
Thank you.
Excited to have y'all in studio.
Should I put these on?
You can, yeah.
You can just wait. Yeah, here, wait a little bit. So we got
sure.
Clay and Will. I'll put that just so I don't forget.
Gardy
Yep.
and
Curt
Curt.
and
Yeah.
Crystal.
Crystal. Crystal.
Y'all doing good today?
Doing well. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah. So we got y'all are with Sober Living.
Sober Living Houston. Yes, sir.
And
We're 12-step base sober living community located in Memorial Spring Branch area.
Mhm.
It's I-10 West in the Beltway. We've been around for about 10 years now. We're celebrating our 10th year this year. We've got about 10 sober living homes. That's 3 women, 7 men. And it's kind of in a stepped base housing where you come into the first house and it's kind of like a proving ground.
Cool.
It's a little bit more crowded, but like I said, it's to weed out the people that want to be sober.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people look for housing just to get off the street, just
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason. But sorry.
No, she's adjusting. You're good. You're good to go. So that's cool. So you said there's 10?
There's 10 houses.
Okay, 10 houses, and that's all throughout the Houston area?
Yes, sir. And we also have a clinical side, which is called Take Action Recovery, where we provide group therapy, outpatient PHP services, as well as individual counseling, family groups on the weekends. We try to cover all bases as far as recovery goes, because we find that the more attention that you pay to somebody that wants to be in recovery, like, we try not to allow them too much free time, because a lot of the times people that come to us are coming out of treatment or out of jail. So they go from 100% accountability to 0% accountability when they're going home.
Yeah.
So we try to step in the middle and, kind of step them down as far as accountability and, keeping them busy with productive things and constructive things in their lives, so they have a better chance of success in the long run.
So I think we learned about Sober Living Houston. We were in Dickinson at Premier Martial Arts right there at 517 and I-45.
Okay.
And we love Premier Martial Arts. Al Garza, Grandmaster Garza, has been in the community for like 40, 50 years doing, training in multiple locations. It's really cool. So there were a couple of gentlemen who walked in, and I think they had tamales, and I think they had
banana bread, wasn't it?
banana bread, maybe. Yeah, banana bread.
There's a place that's similar. It's called Houston Sober Living. They kind of started a little bit after us.
Okay.
But anybody that's in the recovery community that's trying to help anybody, we support.
That's awesome.
That's funny that it's the opposite. It's
It
Houston
is.
first instead of last. Did you catch that?
I did, yeah. So what is the perfect person who would be able to come? Like, is there cases where somebody is like assigned to have to go, or is it just like you check yourself in?
Sometimes we work in conjunction with Star Drug Court. Sometimes we used to be their go-to a couple of years ago. We're still, in the works with them. We go to court appearances. We're affiliated in all of our clients' legal matters and stuff like that. But, sometimes people are court-ordered to come to us. Sometimes people are referred to us coming out of treatment center. A lot of our clientele is word of mouth. People that have come to us and see how our program is run. Usually when they go somewhere else or, have a relapse in their sobriety, they come back to us because they see, we have a family-style atmosphere. Like we know how to have fun in sobriety. We just try to provide all the resources and love.
What are y'all's roles in the organizations?
Well, I guess, I don't know, kind of a director of operations. There's a few of us. Mike Hubacek is the owner. He started the houses, I guess, 10 years ago. A little bit of backstory on him. When he was 18, he blacked out and killed 2 people while driving drunk on Westheimer. And he went from facing 60 years in prison to he had an option. His judge was Ted Poe at the time, and he had an option to do 6 months TDC with 10 years of shock probation, which was like tending to the gravesites of the victims, carrying pictures of the victims in his wallet, walking up and down Westheimer holding a sign, saying I killed 2 people driving drunk. There was all these stipulations on his probation, and he had to do public speaking. So he did that successfully. He just celebrated 23 years of sobriety, and he started this business as kind of giving back because he found that he's most happiest when he's giving back, living selflessly. So he started off with one house, and through trial and error, he learned how what worked with addicts and alcoholics and what hasn't worked. And over the years, he added another house, and then a couple of years ago, we started the clinical side with the group therapy and stuff like that, which is, we accept all different types of insurance. We're out of network, but, we kind of operate on a sliding scale. We try to provide resources and help to anybody that needs it. I'd say 15% of our census right now, our population, is hardship cases. Which, we'll give them a chance, we'll give them a bed, offer them, 2 weeks, 30 days, rent free. And, every week they're cases reviewed by staff. You know, are they meeting the requirements? Are they looking for a job? Are they going to meetings?
That's what their requirements are?
Productive member of the house. You know, are they staying sober? You know, are they participating in their own recovery? And, you know, and that allows, you know, it gives people that don't have the resources a chance for recovery. You know, because unfortunately, a lot of the recovery places in the city and surrounding areas or treatment options, you know, they are a business, you know, and they try to make a profit.
Yeah.
Granted, we have to keep the lights on, but that's not what we're all about. You know, we're about bringing the resources of our community together to provide the best option for each individual alcoholic or drug addict.
Mm-hmm. So Clay, right?
Yes, sir.
What is your role in the organization?
If I may just stop and just pray and just
Sure.
thank God for this opportunity.
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick? Okay. Father God, we just come before you and Lord God, just thank you for this opportunity just to be here, because without you, Father, none of this would be taking place today. And Lord, we just thank you for another sober day. And Lord God, just use us today for your glory, and just speak through us today. And we just give you all the praise and the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you. So my name is Clay. My sobriety date is 5/26/15, and you know I've been there about 3.5 years. I surrendered in front of an apartment complex. I had a chemical dependency problem, and God saved me. And through that time, I was woken up by the police department and taken to jail, and God gave me what I needed, and then through that process, I was given treatment, and in treatment, I went for about 3 months, and coming out of treatment, they suggested me to go to a sober living home to learn how to live, and start taking suggestions, because I was broken, and so finally, that's what I did, and in that process, coming out of treatment, I went to Sober Living Houston, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And best thing about it is I was able to learn from other people that had the same issues that I had, which was a drug addiction. And in that process, I met Mike Hubachek the first day I got there, and in the office, and he suggested that I get a sponsor and start working my steps to start taking a look at myself, and in that process that's where I was able to take a look at my character defects, and most important is build a relationship with Jesus Christ, who is my Lord and Savior. And it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. My position there is just to love on the guys. I'm the morning guy.
He's a house manager.
Yeah.
Cool.
He supervises 3 different houses.
Yeah.
But 3 years in the same place is quite an accomplishment. He's definitely one of our best success stories.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So 2015, you made that decision, came to one of the houses and just went through the programs, right? How many steps is there?
There's 12 steps.
And what does a sponsor mean? What is that?
A sponsor is somebody that guides you through the program, whether it be NA, AA, CA, CMA. There's a lot of different A's. But basically, it's a 12 principles or 12 steps to like clear away some of the fog or wreckage or trauma or confusion or insanity that you have going on with your life, to bring you closer to a relationship with a higher power.
Wow.
Taking a look at where you're at fault, your character defects, your past experiences, where you're at, where I was lying, cheating, stealing, anything that I could do to get high, and that's where I was in life. And you get down to the root of your problems, and you start to see what type of person you were, and taking a moral inventory of yourself, and where I was at fault, who did I harm, and then start making amends to those people. So you start taking a look at yourself, and that's where the psychic change occurs.
Do you think you could have done any of this without, with Christ in your life?
Absolutely not. There's no way. God loves, that's why I know God, God loves me so much that, he wants to get my attention. He wants all of me. And so he allows me to go through some things. For me, my addiction, trial, like James 1, count it all joy when you go through various trials, because the testing of your faith produces endurance, perseverance. Let it do its work, that you be made more complete, more mature, lacking nothing. And so that's what God was doing to me. He was still refining me, because I'm his son. We're his children. He wants all of our attention. That way, we can start being obedient. There were some things that I had to do, to sacrifice. To lose your life is to gain it. In the word, it says to be sober-minded. How can I build a spiritual relationship with God if I'm not sober?
Yeah.
And that was my first step, to live a sober life. And through that process, I was able to, now build a relationship with God. And not only that, let his light shine on others, which is, our purpose,
Yeah.
To bring people to salvation, to be able to love others the way he would.
So yeah, you mentioned find your purpose. Is it safe to say this, you found your purpose? Is this what you feel like God put you on this planet to do?
Yeah, absolutely. My ways are not his ways. My thoughts are not his thoughts. And I know he's given me the desire to stay put and stay at Sober Living Houston and just continue to learn how to grow within myself, my relationship with God. But absolutely.
Yeah. As I'm a Christian, and as a normal person, we're all human. I know I struggle sometimes with just different things in life, whether that's like being mean to Kurt or whatever, you know what I mean? But like whatever it is, everybody has struggles. How do you deal with temptation? I don't know if it's just like, hey, faith in God and it's just gone, because God can do that. But like, I know for me, there's things I struggle with, and I'm just, I still struggle, and sometimes I give in. But like, how do you deal with temptation? How does that work? I don't know if there's any at all, but I'm just.
If I do it 24 hours at a time. If I'm living a spiritual way of life, 24 from when my feet hit the floor. If I'm surrendering my will and my life over to a higher power, usually my day starts off properly. I'm not in collision with life or with its people. But that's not to say things don't crop up during the day sometimes, but the closer I am to a higher power, the more likely I am to create that space with my reactions when something does happen. That doesn't change, the feelings or emotions might well up when, I don't get my way or something doesn't meet my expectations. But, with that space, I can, there's a voice in my head that sounds off. That's like, that gut consciousness, that voice that's on the inside that knows right from wrong. I can step back and acknowledge it and, usually take a couple of breaths, say a quick prayer, and then approach it with the proper reaction or response.
Can you talk about your T-shirt a little bit? Because the T-shirt's it's interesting. I like it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this was a design that Mike Kubicek, the owner, came up with. It's kind of our brand, our logo. It looks like Jack Daniels, but it's Sober Living Houston, old number 12 brand, after the 12 steps of recovery, whiskey-free, producing quality recovery, established in 2009.
So can you talk one more time before we go on the FM here? Why is this important to have in our area?
I think that, there's no shortage of alcoholics and addicts. What there is a shortage of is recovery options for these people. I think a lot of the times in the past, like recovery and addiction per se has been looked at as a stigma, and it is a mental illness and it is a disease, it is classified as such. And, we just want to provide, and put our name out there that there is help out there. There is a resource and it doesn't cost a fortune, and there is, love and support, where we're at, and, we welcome everybody, it's whatever it takes to get help or get you off the ground. Like we're willing to do. We'll
Yeah.
willing to meet you where you're at.
So somebody, if they have to have that desire, because I guess you can have other people be like, you need to do this, but if you don't want to do it yourself, you're not going to do it.
It's true, and even if it's planting the seed, where they come in and it's their first brush with sober living or a program, even if it doesn't work out, when they go back out and, unfortunately, if they hit bottom again, they'll have that in their mind that there is an option.
I know there's
it's not
places, these
hopeless.
guys, they do care about me. I can get the help I need, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was gonna say also, going into our program, there's so much camaraderie and support within the women and the men's house that if you just go to a meeting or I know and just be involved or around the people, they're gonna feel that presence, they're gonna feel that support, and they'll be able to be encouraged. Love conquers everything. And so being around the same type of people that are going through the same problems, that's who we learn from, is the people right next to you in the same rooms, getting to feel their hurts, their pains. And you take a look at that, and that's what pulls you through your daily walk. As I say, just keep on coming back.
Cool. We're going to go on the FM right now as well, so it's going to be exactly the same, but here we go.
FM, KHEA, Lamarck.
Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is 10:14. We're going to be on till 11 a.m. Right now, we're talking to Sober Living Houston about some of the cool things that they are able to provide for the community. I would say it's a service and something that is just like giving back and helping community. So if y'all wouldn't mind, could you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Will Aldridge. One of the directors of operations for Sober Living Houston.
Cool.
My name is Clay Pratt. I work at the main house. I've been there about 3.5 years, and it's definitely saved and changed my life.
Yeah. So y'all have how many different locations throughout this area, the Houston area?
Houston area, we have 10 homes. We have 3 women's houses and 7 men's houses currently. We also have clinical services, which are at another location in Spring Branch that provide PHP, outpatient services, as well as like family, group, trauma therapy, individual counseling and such.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. So it's like that, the housing and then like the clinical services is more like the counseling side and...
Correct. We call it an integrated recovery model where you have group therapy and structure during the day outside of sober living, but you also have a place with structure and accountability to, retire at night. Somebody that checks up on, if you're going to meetings, we do drug testing and
Random UAs.
Mm-hmm.
It provides a safe haven for them to return to it.
So y'all have been around for 10 years now, right?
Correct.
Sober
10
Living
years.
Houston. If you had to guess, or maybe you know this, like estimate, how many people have come in and out of the houses, in these past 10 years?
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands. Unfortunately, it is a high turnover rate in this industry. Not everybody gets it on the first time. We have thousands of success stories, but unfortunately, there are some people that, it takes multiple desire chips or multiple times of getting sober to actually get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say we have about a 30% success rate, which is high in this field. I wish it was more, but the fact that we do have such a high success rate is that we catch most people when they're coming out of treatment, out of jail, when they're coming from 100% accountability. We try to ease them down. We try to, we try to gradually step them back into society.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because when I find personally that when you go from 100% accountability to complete freedom, that it's off to the races.
So when you say 100% accountability coming from like if you're in jail, you got someone in there, and if you, I guess if you want to find something, you can find something, but it's easier because it's like, hey, I want to get out of here, right? And then you get into the normal land, as a normal civilian, and it's just like, whoa, now I can find something if I want to. Right?
Yeah, and you have the voices in your head, your phone's ringing from old acquaintances. You're back into old stomping grounds and old neighborhoods, and the temptation's there.
We also have a brother system, a color code system, which, when you come in, you're not allowed to leave the facility or, the house by yourself. you're usually accompanied with, one of your brothers that's on green, which is, they had some time of sobriety, and, you're both have, passed UA. That way you always have someone with you at all times. We're a real structured program. So when you come in, everything changes when you get sober.
Yeah.
Waking up in the morning, accountability, structure, everything is, designed for you to change your ways. With waking up in the morning, we do morning meditation. Everybody gets up at 6:30. Morning meditation together as a group's at 7. We do step sponsor plans for the day, what your chore is, clean house, and then people are going to meetings consistently or working their steps, working with the sponsor, or going to PHP or IOP. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. If you're dishonest or you owe an apology or resentment, we go over those things. So we're always looking at where we're at fault, and how to take a look at ourselves and work through those things so we can learn from each other.
Yeah, this may be a silly question, but how do you define sober?
An entire abstinence.
Yeah.
I mean, there's dry and then there's sober. It's like, are you working towards changing? Am I working towards changing my life? Am I taking the necessary steps to improve my life, or am I just maintaining?
Yeah.
I find that if I'm not moving forward, usually I'm moving backwards.
Yeah, you're always moving somewhere. Yeah. Towards your goals, towards your dreams, toward your calling in life and what you're supposed to do, or you're falling back into what you used to do, and then you can't get what you're calling in life.
Absolutely.
You can't get it complete. This is interesting, but we partner with Bay Area Alliance for Youth and Families, and this is a campaign that me and Curt are helping spread awareness out, but it's Be the Reason. And so the entire reason is, instead of having kids think like, how sometimes I guess there's like, the cool parents, we want, if you're going to drink, you're going to do it anyways. They're going to do that stuff. Hey, do it in a controlled, environment. We'll go to the beach house. We'll do this. And, it's okay at my house. And give me the keys. Y'all can't do that. But that's really a weird way of thinking about things. And so what the Bay Area Alliance for Youth and Families is helping get across and spread awareness is, be the reason that they don't drink. Be the reason they're not introduced to these situations where it can cause them a lot of pain later on in life. So me and Curt, we are big believers in that, and as well, like we both, we don't drink alcohol or do drugs or anything like that. But hey, let's be different. I think it's better to live sober.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, as a child growing up, like it was like there was already some trauma associated with my childhood. I grew up in an abusive home, verbally, physically. But when I was introduced to like a mind-altering substance, like when my grandfather or my uncle handed me a beer from the poker table, I'd already had issues. And once I drank that beer, all my issues seemed to fade away. So I associated with my trauma and fixing the way I felt on the inside with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of kids, they have a good childhood. They grow up and, they have a few beers on the weekends, in college or whatever, and they don't turn into alcoholics or drug addicts. But as soon as I make that connection between fixing what's wrong with me on the inside to, instant gratification when I reach for alcohol or drugs, that starts to become a problem. And eventually
Yeah, absolutely.
I go down the rabbit hole.
For me, my most, my relationship with God is number one. So I have to consistently, be in prayer, turning my will over to the care of God as I understand Him, going to church. We do a lot of Bible studies. We have Bible study at 6:30 on Thursdays. We were at a church union. We had 8 baptisms a couple weeks ago, which some of our guys weren't even going to church, and so you see the relationship with God when you get sober also, which is number one. And through the Holy Spirit that lives in us, He's going to guide us.
Yeah, living in an altered state, you probably aren't able to have that communication, that line, open. Even if some, like your neighbor or somebody's trying to tell you something, you're not going to get it. You may not even remember, or you're blacked out. How can you just see
Yeah,
what's
at
going
least
on.
for me,
hear
my
from God.
perception on reality is askew.
Yeah.
I feel like it's real, but my perception of the way it's not correct.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For me, the weirdest, I guess the most interesting part about me making this transition, because I didn't grow up in this church. I didn't grow up in this kind of community. In Nebraska, it wasn't a part of that. And I guess people, when I tell them like, hey, I don't drink alcohol, they always go, wait, what? Why? I work for a church. Like, I am a Christian. And they always go, what? Why? Well, one, for the main reason of, I don't want to be out in the community drinking alcohol. And then one of my Christian brothers or sisters who struggles with that addiction comes across me and sees me drinking, and they go, wait, well, if he's drinking, then I can drink. Or they feel pressured to be in a situation where I'm in that situation, and they go, oh, okay, well, I have to, and it causes them to last on that, a little bit.
That makes sense. Like, there's an accountability that one day you'll probably, we'll all one day, look, Jesus as your Savior, you're there, and it's like, well, you made your brother struggle, or he saw you, or you kind of held accountable for that. And if I don't know how it's going to work out exactly.
I had someone really fast. I had someone who actually said, like, I can't hang out with you anymore. I'm like, wait, you can only hang out with me when I'm drinking? Like,
Right.
Are you a real friend? Like, that makes no sense to me.
It doesn't.
But I think that's why it's so important what y'all are doing for the community. I mean, I have a very similar story to what you had mentioned with childhood trauma and turning to alcohol as a way to cope with the pain. Right. And it wasn't until I found a good Christian community here at Abundant Life that I was able, and working through the 12 steps and through the help of my sponsor, was able to move past that and move into living a sober life. And even then, it's never easy. It's not like just one day, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. When those difficult times come up, it's always the first thing in my mind is, oh, I know how to cope with this. I know how to make this all just go away. But that's the important part of having that supportive community and having that structure so that you know what to turn back to when it gets difficult. So I really appreciate what y'all are doing for our community.
I mean, thank you very much. It's amazing. When it's just amazing. You go to our community meeting on Tuesday, and just there, God created this place to save and change his children's life. And it's amazing what Sober Living Houston is doing. From the time you see guys and girls come in and their brokenness, and within a week later you see peace and joy in their heart. The desire to want to live and to change. Not only that is, just to be sober, and it's amazing. So if you're out there and you're a parent, you have children, or you're the mom or dad that that needs help, and pour your burdens onto us. Call us. We'll sit there. We'll listen to you. We'll uplift you. We'll encourage you. Just come see us. God will save your life, and through Sober Living Houston. So,
yeah, my thought immediately is, does it help? I think it would help if somebody has a reason, like, I have kids. I gotta stop and knock this stuff out, because what happens to my kids? I go getting myself in a situation, I'm doing jail time, or I get arrested for drugs. What can be somebody's reason if they don't have kids, if they feel like I have nothing, nobody cares about me, has God turned his back on me? What's left for me? Like, what would you say to somebody if they're listening and they have that going on right now?
I mean, for me, I had to be beaten into a state of reasonableness, is what they call it. Like, I had to be so down that I was willing to do anything else, and that's, most of it is internally. Yeah, I mean, living under a bridge, eating out of a trash can is, those are telltale signs, but until I'm defeated internally, there's very, very little hope of my recovery. To anybody that's struggling and is having doubts or feeling hopeless, I mean, there's always hope. For me, I had to force myself to go to meetings in the beginning, because I was exposed to 12 steps at a young age, and over the years of trial and error, it became watered down to me. It's like, I'm going to go to these meetings, I'm going to talk to these people, I'm going to hear the same things that I've always heard, but I forced myself to go through that, kind of walking through the fire. And between like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month after committing to it and going when I didn't want to go and sharing when I was called on and opening myself up, the light started to come in again. I started to hear things differently. I started perceiving, the program through, they call it different pair of glasses, through new eyes. And the hope was restored again. And I was able to build on top of that hope, gradually and keep surrendering over and over. And when I started to see the benefits come in, then I could invest in it. Because usually they say with alcoholics and addicts, the story has to have depth and weight. I have to be convinced. You can't just tell me. It's got to be something that I see, feel, hear, touch. It's got to be real.
Yeah,
So,
I think being a part of a community and almost like a family or a brotherhood, like you had said earlier, it can, that helps. Having that community and meeting and just talking about it and listening to one another is important.
And we've got about 150 beds right now, which about 110 of those beds are full. So we have a community around us. We have people that come in that are skilled tradesmen, people that, work in the courts. I mean, all different walks of life, and because we have so many houses and so many people, we're able to provide, like I said, a community. There's 3 AA clubs that are in the area close to us, with young people's groups, with dances and cookouts and functions and retreats and conferences. I mean, there's always something to do where we're at.
So for somebody to participate in some of the service y'all all offer, they don't necessarily have to be a member or living in one of the homes, or do they?
No, not at all. I mean, if you want to do clinical services, there's options for that. There's, if you want to come to the family group, there's, we have options to do that. Most of our groups are lifelong. Like once you've come through them, you're open to come back to them indefinitely, free of charge.
Okay. Does it help for people to find things to replace those times? Like, if someone's used to going out and partying or getting high with their friends, like what would you suggest? Be like, hey, you need to find something productive, or like what is a good thing to kind of replace those things in your life?
We have fun. We grill every weekend. We'll barbecue or steaks or whatever. We do all the sporting events. We're involved in SRC, which is Sober Recreation Committee. We have softball teams that go out and play every weekend. We do bowling nights. We go shoot pool. We'll go to the beach, do bonfires. And we always, there's always a dance or a AA function or a conference or a camp out. There's always something going on. We try to stay included as much as possible in that community as well.
Yeah.
The young people's community in Houston is huge.
Not only that is, for yourself and, what changes within yourself by, becoming sober, everything changes. You start restoring relationships. You get a relationship with God. You get a job. You're able to start paying your bills. You're able to start being a successful citizen. You start building your pride back, and that's the main focus is for you to build yourself so you can take care of yourself and your family and live a successful life.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate goal.
We've talked a bit about, faith and Christianity. Is that an official part of Sober Living Houston, or is that just something a lot of people find it helps them? So
no, we're not a faith-based program.
Okay.
So it's a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. So we don't pressure anybody for their faith or whatnot.
We want you to believe in something.
Yeah.
As with me, my spiritual relationship, my spiritual way of life had to grow.
Yeah.
It had to evolve. But as long as it started with something, as long as I knew I wasn't God, that was a good start.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't the center of the universe.
Yeah, no, you still, you have to support and love that person where they're at. And, as the program says, someone had to, reach out and love on to me when I first got there until I could love myself. So, no, we're not a faith-based community, but we love each other because we're all human and we're all God's children. So, and we support your belief and where you're at. That way, you can grow within yourself.
So where can somebody go? Website, address, phone number, email. How can they find out more information? How can they get involved in whatever way they need to or want to?
Well, thank you. We have a Facebook page that's Sober Living Houston. That's how it's spelled, how it sounds. It looks like my shirt.
Okay.
We also have a website that's www.soberlivinghouston.com. We have a clinical website that's www.takeactionrecovery.com. The phone numbers, there's a couple of them. One of them is 713-858-9579. And our owner, Mike, that's his direct cell phone number. He puts it out there because he likes to have contact with each and every person that comes to the house. His phone rings hundreds of times a day, but he's always there to answer it and talk to each person.
That's huge that the owner would put his cell phone number out there.
He does.
I was going to ask Clay, right? How did you see yourself in 2015 when you made the decision to go to sober? Did you see yourself 4 years later, not even 4 total years later, sitting on a Christian radio program in the morning talking about it?
Praise God. Thank you, Jesus. We were praying on the way over here. No, I did not. And I'm like my mother says, I'm an absolute miracle. No, I didn't. And it's just by God's grace. And, he shows us something new every day. And, I surrendered in that jail cell, 2015. May 15th of May 26th of 15, and he met me where I was, and gave me what I needed. As God says, He disciplines the children that He loves, and I was sincere. I was sincere this time. Like, God, please help me with this addiction, and He gave me what I needed, and so it's just a blessing. Words can't describe it. I just give Him all the praise and the glory.
I have 2 questions. I have one. I'll ask the serious question, but then I have a more non-serious question.
Okay.
The first serious question, though, is one of the things that they tell you when you're trying to break an addiction. I have a really bad addiction to sweets, and cheese. I eat a lot of queso and stuff. I know it's 2 completely opposite things here, but
yeah,
they say it takes 21 days to break a habit,
or to begin one, I believe.
Right.
Either way.
How does that, is that true? Did it walk us through that process when you were making that decision to walk away from something that was a big part of your life? Was it 21 days or are you still constantly?
I was just ready. I mean, I had been beat down, been through so much pain and suffering. And, like I said, I surrendered. I got on my knees and I just cried out to God to help relieve me from this addiction. And I just surrendered my life to Him. And, this time I was serious. And so I knew, and immediately He put in my heart some things that, that I had to remove from my life with being obedient. And when I gave some things up in my life, and number one was sexual sin, because I was living in complete sin in my addiction. When I turned that over to Him and I said, okay, God, I'm going to be obedient in this area, and have been since. Next time will be my wife, when He, says so. That's when some of the changes and the desires to want to change occurred. When I started sacrificing what the Word says to Him, then He started giving me the courage and the desire to walk down the narrow road.
Wow.
I think there's a difference between a habit and addiction also. I mean, I think a habit, I like to eat cheese. It doesn't make my life unmanageable, but with addiction, it's
detrimental to yourself or others. Mm-hmm. It can be, right?
Well, yeah. Well, and it's a mental health disease.
Yeah.
Also, it's a physical occurrence in the brain. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I have a quick question. So I understand how you're sharing that, like you're in the jail cell, Like, were there seeds planted in your life, like little things that you even knew, be like, hey, I know God can help me? Was there somebody that shared a book with you, or was this somebody in there with you? Like, how did you make that decision that like led up to that point where like, hey, you can help me get through this?
I for one, I got sober, and so when you get sober and you take the substance and you have a moment of clarity. I mean, when my back was against the wall, and there was no one to run to, who would I run to? I'm going to run to God, and that's what, God put me in a place where he allowed me to run to him. And, I was, scared and going through withdrawal myself, and I just surrendered to him. And so he put me in a place where, I cried out to him.
Yeah.
And he met me where I was. And that's, it's just by his grace and love that, I started following what he put in my heart. And like I said, there were some things he put in my heart, which is, the 10 Commandments and being obedient. And when I started, living by that, he started giving me, a desire to want to stay sober, and gave me what I needed with going to the sober living, and I've been there ever since. It's just a great thing.
Curt, what was the other part of your question?
The other thing is, first of all, you have a great suit on over there. Like, that is a great looking suit.
Thank you.
You do look good.
You're doing great. We're going to be headed to Macy's this afternoon because we have a big event tomorrow night. It's the reality of wrestling. Booker T has his big birthday bash, and we're doing our show from Reality of Wrestling and their big birthday bash that they're doing.
I'm excited.
We're super excited. We're going to be in front of like millions and millions of people tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, wow.
Well, hopefully, maybe.
We'll see.
But we need to look good. Like, we can't show up to Booker T's birthday bash dressed in
y'all
jean
are you familiar
jackets.
He's
with
a wrestler, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so we got to go get a good suit. Where did you get your suit? That's the funny question, I guess.
Yeah. Where did I get this suit? Actually, this suit was given to me.
Nice.
And so, yeah, this suit was given to me. Actually, a lot of clothes were given to me. Thank you, David. Because I had lost everything. And when I got sober, I started restoring relationships, and I had family members and my brother who gave me all kinds of clothes. So, David, I greatly appreciate all the clothes that you gave me.
Is that your brother, David?
I love you. Yes,
Okay.
sir, it is.
So whenever it comes to restoring relationships, does that mean like a lot of them were destroyed through addiction?
Oh yeah, I mean, I destroyed a lot of relationships because of my addiction. I could never be honest. I just the pain and suffering, and I mean, I destroyed a lot of relationships through my actions, and so those are a lot of the relationships I was able to restore with working my steps and being sober, and knowing that there's nothing that anyone can do out there that God is not going to forgive you for. So I don't care what type of anything that you've done today is no different than my stinking thinking that I deal with on a daily basis. I just choose to go to God to it and ask him to forgive me, and he forgives me. A righteous man falls 7 times but picks up his cross and continues to go down the narrow road, and you all are God's children. So don't forget that.
Does Sober Living Houston help guide people when it comes to restoring relationships? Because I can see a lot of people going through that. That's something you'd be like, hey, if you want to restore that relationship with your wife, family, mother, brother, do y'all help with that?
We have group therapy on Saturday mornings, but also that I've found that if I'm loving myself again, if I'm taking care of myself, then that's going to attract the people that want to be in my life, the people that are supposed to be in my life. I think if I direct that energy inwards and try to, create that positive energy within myself, then, like I said, it's transferred to the outside.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I was gonna, also, about restoring relationships is, the best thing about it is working with your sponsor and taking a look at where you're at fault for the relationships that you you're in fault. Where did I lie to someone? Did I steal from somebody? Did I harm somebody? Who did I harm? It's all taking a look at you, and then writing that stuff down on a paper. And then not only that is telling your sponsor about it, praying to God about it, and then step 9 is making amends. And going to that person and saying, hey, look, Mom, Dad, can I talk to you? I just want to own up to my actions. I took $50 off the out of your wallet, or I took the car and went to a party, or whatever you did, holding yourself accountability, and that's where the relationships start restoring. And not only that is they can feel your sincerity and your heart. They know they know when someone has been sober and they're changing their lives, So that's the beautiful thing. You will restore your relationships with your family, friends, and all those around you, no doubt.
Yeah. What do you do if somebody is just like, hey, I can't? How do you emotionally and just kind of get past that and be like, hey, you know what? I understand. Or what kind of mindset do you take?
You're getting into like step 8 and 9 when you're doing the amends process. Like, it's not about I'm saying I'm sorry. It's about cleaning your side of the street. It's about creating a life around you where you're less likely to commit those same mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you go and the opportunity presents itself to make amends to somebody and they're not receptive to it, then you're prepared going into it. You've already talked with it about it with a sponsor. You've dissected it and looked at it. What's going to happen if I do cross this person's path? This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to offer. If he's not receptive to it, then you have to, that's God's will.
Yeah.
At least I kept my side of the street clean. I cleaned up what wreckage I could, and I'm open to changing those character defects in the future.
So what are the last couple of steps whenever you've completed that 12? That's like 8 and 9. Like, what are the last ones?
10, 11, and 12 are maintenance. 10 is, I take a daily inventory. Like, where was I? Resentful, selfish, dishonest, afraid? Do I owe an amends to somebody? What could I have done better? Am I living a selfless life, or was I being selfish most of the time? 11 is, continue through prayer and meditation to improve a relationship with my higher power. Am I praying at night? Am I treating people with love and respect and kindness? Am I stepping on somebody's toes? And 12 is carrying the message, giving back what was so freely given to us.
Amen.
In whatever regard, that if somebody needs a ride to the store, if I'm going to a meeting, call a couple of guys that are early in recovery and, seeing if they want to go to the meeting.
Yeah.
If somebody, whatever it is, giving a homeless person $1 on the street, carrying somebody through the steps, sitting across the table with them with the big book of AA and reading it to them, breaking it down, helping them understand their disease and, that they're not alone in what they've gone through.
So that, that giving back is almost what birthed Sober Living Houston, right?
Absolutely.
With the founder that many years ago.
Right. And we break even on the Sober Living. It's like, we used to be a nonprofit, but we're in the works of getting that certification redone. But we just keep the lights on. We pay the rent, we pay the bills. With that many guys and women newly in sobriety in those houses, there's a lot of wear and tear. So there's maintenance and, upkeep and groceries and, the like. But
yeah,
we're not out to rob anybody. We're definitely affordable housing. And yeah.
What are the requirements? Like, if somebody's like, hey, with the housing, I'm going through some stuff, like, what are the checklists? If somebody's listening, they can see I'm a good fit, or I know somebody who would be.
Yeah, give us a call. Or, you can contact us through Facebook. Our phone number is on our website at soberlivinghouston.com. And it's case by case. I'll talk to you personally. Clay will talk to you. Mike will talk to you. Eric, Ed. Everybody that works with us has come up through the ranks. We've all gone through the houses. We've all, worked our steps. We're sponsoring guys. So we like to promote within. So everybody's, available to answer the phone. But yeah, call. We prefer to talk to you personally that are having any problems or issues, but we're welcome to talk to loved ones, parents, friends, and family, and just tell us your situation. Tell us, what's going on. If you have legal troubles, we can likely, be of assistance in that area. We are affiliated with a lot of the courts, but it's case by case. We're not. We prefer you to have some money up front to come in to get a bed, but sometimes
we'll come get you too. So if there's
Yeah.
parents out there that have a troubled child or adult or whatnot, and they're in a situation and they need some assistance and or whatnot, we've
Right,
also,
we do interventions.
gone
We'll
to
pick
go
them
pick
up
people.
from treatment, or pick them up from jail as they're getting out of jail, or whatnot. I mean, no task is too small for us. Whatever it takes to start these people on their journey through recovery, we're willing to do.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got about 13 minutes left. You're listening to 99.5 KHEA Radio and KHEAradio.com. How does Sober Living Houston maybe differ a little bit from, what I grew up on, like AA? Like those were the things that people know. How does this differ than a program like AA?
I think that for me, it was important in early recovery to grow, to have those connections with people, because a lot of times in my using career, like, there was acquaintances, but there wasn't any friendships. When I was using, my family didn't want to have anything to do with me, so there wasn't any connections there either. Most of the time I was alone with my own thoughts, believing my own thoughts. So I think what we provide, AA does provide like a home group, an hour out of your day. You do have a chance to make connections there, but with us, it's 24 hours a day. You have people that are striving to improve their lives, people that want to do the same things that you're wanting to do, and there's always something to do in our community that's beneficial, that's productive as far as recovery goes. It may not be a meeting, it could be going to play softball. It could be, a lot of the guys have longboards, and they'll go downtown or to the parks and they'll go longboarding, or we'll go play volleyball, or we'll go bowling, or there's an atmosphere to grow in that's constructive and productive to recovery.
So here's another question. This was from Dina. She said, how, as a loved one of someone trying to walk in sobriety, can we best support them?
I would say with love. One of our best lines, our favorite lines, is love them till they can love themselves. Because we find that addicts and alcoholics live a very selfish and self-centered life in between their ears. And a lot of the times people take what they do personally, myself included. I'm a victim of it also. But when I try to set myself outside of the box and look at it as, these people are sick. They're trying to do the best they can do with what they have to work with.
Yeah, sometimes us as individuals, Kurt will say this every once again. He's like, isn't it crazy to think that everybody else has like their own life going on? Like, because in his head, he's the main character of the movie, and in mine, I'm the main character. But sometimes you got to take that step out and be like, okay, what am I doing to the people around me? My family. It's not just about me. There's other people that I'm hurting, and they have their own lives, and their heart is breaking because of what I'm causing them.
Absolutely. And relapse, unfortunately, is a part of people's story. It doesn't, most people don't get it on the first time. And what I've experienced in seeing so many people come through Sober Living Houston is that you never know when somebody's ready. It may be the 15th time, it could be the 22nd time. You never know when that gift to desperation is going to set in, and they're going to surrender and finally do whatever it takes. I mean, there's no telling. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, that's when God definitely comes in, and nothing happens in His world by mistake. But you never know. So we try to not be judgmental, not take relapses and what people do personally, but try to provide that love and support each time they look for it.
Okay. Right now it's 10:51. This is KHEAradio.com, 99.5 FM. Go ahead, if you're watching on Facebook, share this video out. Hit the like button, hit the heart button, leave a comment if you have a question, if you have any thoughts. Let us know. We want to hear from you. A couple other things. If you like, share, and comment on this video, and you go meet us tonight at Pho Bon Me Bistro and Grill right there in League City, you'll have the opportunity to get an extra pound of crawfish. An extra pound of crawfish tonight. You can come say hi to me and Kurt, be featured in the video that we have. We talked about some of the camaraderie stuff, the brotherhood, the cook-offs, the softball, going longboarding in the park, whatever. Are y'all big on crawfish? Y'all ever do crawfish boils? Yeah.
Love crawfish.
It's about that time.
Bring everybody down, 100 of them. Come on down to Fob on Me. Get an extra pound of crawfish.
Bob on me.
Yeah, make sure you share, like, comment this stream right now that we're doing on Facebook. If you're not watching on Facebook, you're listening at 99.5 FM. Be sure to go search KHEA Radio on Facebook. Smash the like button. Smash the thumbs up button. Make sure that you follow what we have going on.
Can you imagine if all 100 of them just shared this video and then came and ate crawfish tonight?
That would be a great time, I would say. That would be a lot of fun.
I'm putting them at task to do that tonight.
You're on it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, if you invited all of your friends to like KHEA and then all 100 of them invited all of their friends, imagine how many likes we would have.
Well, you have to tell them, hey, y'all need to go watch the video that I do at KHEA, spreading some positivity, spreading what Sober Living Houston is doing right here in the community for 10 years now. Where do you see Sober Living Houston in the next 10 years? We already see the growth that's happened so far. If y'all had to guess, what do you see the vision being?
I think we're looking towards getting a detox facility, and just expanding and growing, helping more people. We continue to get more houses and fill the houses up, and there's a lot of hurt and addiction out there, so just continuing to build more homes, or buy more homes and bring other guys and girls in to help them as well.
And I think that it's important that what we're trying to do nowadays is bring people in the recovery community together in this city and surrounding areas. A lot of times in this field, unfortunately, people are sectioned off, and they're trying to, it's like headhunting or cherry picking or whatnot. And I think that if we pool our resources together, like we're working with Department of Health and Human Services now with their reentry program, James Bell. That's pro bono, where they have these community centers that are set up around the city for people coming out of jails and institutions that are reintegrating into society. So we're trying working with the drug courts. We're trying to pool all the resources together. If we can't help somebody or our services aren't beneficial to somebody, we want to be able to have a friendship or relationship with somebody else in the field that we can refer them to that might have a higher level of care, better attention to their services. Cool.
All right. Well, is there anything else y'all would like to share this morning while you have the opportunity?
I just want to thank you guys for having us on.
Thank you so much.
It's our first radio interview.
Did you have fun? It's pretty easy.
Yeah, awesome. I was really nervous at first, but
we could tell. No, I'm just kidding. We couldn't tell.
No, you can't.
Butterflies coming over here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
How
so
did you
much.
guys hear about us?
I saw you guys on Facebook, and I sent a message, and I was like, this is what we're doing. It's about us. We're trying to get the word out and bring people together, and spread some love. And y'all responded.
We love it.
We love it. We love anything positive in the community that we can do to be a part of it all day, every day.
Yeah, if there's ever anything that y'all need where we can help get the word out, just from another voice, as well, let us know.
Thank you so
we'd
much.
love to spread that.
Thank
really
you so much
grateful.
for your
Thank
time.
Y'all are awesome.
Having us in.
Yeah,
Praise God.
Definitely. So, anyways, it's Friday. Have a blessed day, and we'll see y'all this evening, I guess, 6 o'clock.
Yes.
God bless you.
Y'all
Jesus loves you.
All right. This has been Kickstart. Have a good weekend.
Awesome.